That's too loud in my ear. Can you... Hello and a very warm welcome to Paramveer Sports Complex. It's Atlanta Open 2025 on a cold and a blustery morning here at Paramveer's. We're all set for the last day of the group stages. A lot riding on today's action, and it is going to be a fun day. Like I said, it's cold and blustery. Important news from the toss earlier on. Aman Patel was with both the captains. Let's join him and see what happened at the toss.
It's time for the pitch report, and we're on a different strip than we were yesterday. We've come one over towards the east. So let's just go down and have a look at this wicket. You can see there's plenty of cracks on it, and it's nice and hard early on. There's some grass, but it really is coming up already. So early on, there's going to be some runs, and I think you're going to want to bat first on this surface, and then later in the day, expect there to be a little bit more turn as it just continues to dry under this Atlanta sun. Toss time here at field number 1. Had the two captains alongside me, Amila Alfonso of the Atlanta Lightning, Akashit Gomel of the Clarion Eagles, and our third umpire for the day. Amila, you've got the coin in hand. Flip it when you're ready. Call is ahead. And it's come down ahead. So, Akashit, you have won the toss. What have you elected to do and why?
We would like to bowl first. The pitch looks really good. And looking at the conditions, I think it's a fair call to bowl first.
Yeah, for your side, it's basically a must-win game in looking into those playoffs. What is your message to your group?
Nothing, just be yourself and just express yourself and enjoy the game. You don't really need to think about the result. Let's focus on the process and have fun.
Any changes in your 11 today?
Now we're going with the same 11.
There you go. Good luck today, Akashit. Amila, tough luck with the toss. Had you have won it, what did you want to do and why?
I'm going to do the same thing as bowling because wicket has a little bit moisture, so need to take the advantage of that.
Your team basically threw, but how do you keep momentum going into the weekend?
Yeah, so we had to win this game. I think it's good for the momentum for us. I think, just need the combination that we're going through to get that momentum going towards the tournament.
Any changes in your 11 today?
No, we got the same 11.
There you go. Good luck today, Amila. That is the word from the middle. It's the Clarion Eagles. They've won the toss and they've elected to have a bowl.
Patel had been very busy this morning. You heard it from him, the conditions, and also about the toss. All-important toss won by the Clarion Eagles, and they put Lightning into bat, which was quite expected because this tournament is very tight. Every game has something riding on it. This is a Group B clash, so if you have a close look at Group B first, 3 teams with 2 wins out of 3 games, locked at 4 points. Clarion Eagles have got 2 points, but they have a game in hand, and they have a challenge against Atlanta Lightning right now. If they are able to go through this game, then we'll have 4 teams with 4 points locked in, and they will have to depend on result other way around as well. As Kuleshir, the last team that is on the table, is already eliminated, and that is quite significant for them because they will not progress. Alongside me, I've got Lena Achabar alongside me, and on a cold, blustery morning, you're wrapped up pretty nice. So very good morning to you, Lenny.
Thank you, Shaw Faisal. There we go. The Atlanta Lightning has been sent in. And you look at the top order, Mukamala, Mark Dial, and of course Smith Patel. Mark Parchment is going to be top of the order. So that's a look at the Atlanta Lightning side. And the question is, Shaw Faisal, how important are the tosses at these tournaments?
Well, we've seen here on Field 1, toss really has played a key role. And win the toss is a big advantage. Although you see quite formidable side there, the Atlanta Lightning, 2 wins for them already in the tournament. And they boast quite a strong lineup, quite a few household names from the circuit. And they would know exactly what is required despite losing the toss. And they can guarantee themselves qualification if they win this one. Clarion Eagles, as though they have a star-studded lineup of their own. Akarshit Gomel, the skipper, Mohammad Mohsin, Sanjay Krishnamurthy, Saif Badar, Matthew Cross. They keep coming. Bowling lineup is formidable as well. Harmeet Singh, Stephen Wigg, Usman Tariq, Najaf Shah. They've all been in good wicket-taking form. So this is going to be a mouth-watering contest, Lana Chabar.
Yes, Shah Faisal, Najaf Shah, Usman Tariq. We saw yesterday Usman Tariq picked up 4. And of course, we've seen the likes of Mohammad Mohsin. He's really been a proven competitor. Harmeet Singh, we saw him yesterday, and we talked about the value of left-arm spin in this tournament. Well, you've got a couple to deal with here.
Absolutely, talking about the couple, the umpires, the pair of umpires walking out today. Well, Denzel James and umpire Ravi. Denzel James will be officiating from the com box end, and Ravi, fixing the stumps, will head over to the far end as Clarion Eagles are taking to the field. A must-win game for them, and Atlanta Lightning cannot take a step off the paddle as well, because it is all important for them to get on to those 6 points and watch the remaining action as it unfolds throughout the day. In 2 fields today, here at Field 1, we've got this contest, Field 5, and you can obviously follow all the action on MLC Network YouTube channel, every game live streamed. Our friends Ned Hayes and Brian Walters are over at Field 5. Make sure you do tune in and follow your favorite players and teams. But I cannot wait for this game to start, Lenny, because this is a big game.
Certainly right, Shah Faisal. So the 2 openers are out in the middle. And we've seen the likes of Smith Patel as he has come to the middle. He'll be the man to face. It looks like Harmeet Singh has been given the ball. And so we're just about on the dot of 10 o'clock here in Rydal, Georgia. And this is day 3 of the Atlanta Open.
Yeah, you would think it's a cloudy and cold morning and it'll be ideal for seam bowling. But these teams have now played here and they've assessed and watched conditions every day. So they've come up with this plan to start off with left arm spin. That is interesting call, but one that was highly talked about in amongst the groups. As you talk to different players before the start of the game, the information that comes through is that don't be fooled by the cloudy conditions. Get spin into play as early as possible. And Harmeet had an outstanding day yesterday with the ball. Bowled a match-winning spell against the fancied Kingsmen. Just 11 runs of his 4 overs and 2 wickets in a tight contest. He provided the start for his side. Here we go again. Plays the call. Smith Patel just quietly dabs it. Like I said, Lenny, the players are experienced enough to know, despite losing the toss, the Atlanta Lightning, they would exactly know what is required. But knowing is one thing, going out and executing is another.
Yeah, we've seen a good knock from Smith Patel already in the season. And this team against the Cardinal yesterday got to 202. Smith got a half century. And he has come out here with Monank Patel, 2 of the best in the business.
2 very good players, but 2 very free-flowing players as well. Sometimes these conditions have demanded for players to bring out the other side of their game as well, to grind it hard, take their time, and then they can flourish when the opportunities come against the second or third tier of bowling. Strays down the leg side to open the proceedings for Lightning. Starts off with a wide.
Yeah, ball darting down the leg side, and so things are on the way here. Seen a good start from Harmeet Singh. He has not allowed Smith Patel any freedom at all.
Straight to that fielder at mid-wicket. Obviously power play, so only 2 fielders are out. This is square leg, and who's the second sweeper? Just looking around. It's long off. Slightly short, even that new ball, not sliding onto the bat as Smith Patel would have expected.
Yeah, very tidy stuff here from Harmeet Singh. Final ball, it's only a wide we've seen in the over. Pretty quiet here for the Atlanta Lightning.
Got to tickle Usman Tariq. Brings out the dive. Not the most. It's Najaf Shah, in fact. Well, the same works for both. Not the most athletic, Najaf and Usman Tariq. But he saves the run. And first over, done and dusted. The Lightning 2 for none. Weather has changed drastically from yesterday, Lenny. It's quite cool and blustery. You see a couple of the fielders wearing extra layers. Interesting to see that no seam to begin with. In fact, it is seam, but it's not Najaf. It's a big result for the Eagles yesterday because having lost the first game to Cardinals on the opening day, they had to bounce back. Abhimanyu starts off with a delivery, string onto the pad, just 2 straight. Another run to the total. Well, this is interesting not to see one of the experienced men who really thrives with that new ball not been given.
Yeah, they've thrown the ball to Lamba. Abhimanyu Lamba. Saw a little bit of him. And now Monang comes in to strike, so a couple of extras on the board. We've seen a run off the bat of Smith Patel. Relative to that, it's been a quiet start here for the Lightning.
Two straight again. This time was able to get some bat on it.
And Shaw Faisal, we talked about the Lightning. If they win here, they'll head the table with 6 points. Of course, there are other games going on simultaneously. So Kingsmen is also on 4 points. I think they have games today, whether it's in the morning or the evening. We'll have to look at the schedule. But the fact is, if Lightning win this game today or now or later on, they will go up to 6 points. And then, of course, if Clarion Eagles win, they'll go up to 4.
Excellent delivery. Good carry as well. Beats him on that front foot defensive stroke.
Yeah, that's the pool of talent in this tournament. You talked about Abhimanyu Lamba, given a ball in front of Najaf Shah and the other experienced players that we know. But he has certainly come into his own, and that's a ripper of a delivery.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Talk about the pool of talent, and you mentioned the scenarios in this group. There's so many of them still going into the last day of the group stages.
And the fact is, if Clarion Eagles win here, Shaw Faisal, they will make 4 teams with 4 points.
Wow. In the air and gone. Straight to the fielder. Harmeet Singh takes the catch. And Smith Patel walks back, looking to drive it on the up. Couldn't get the elevation to clear the mid-off fielder. First blood to the Eagles.
Yeah, this is a very good wicket. Smith Patel, we talked about already a half century in the tournament. And a very tame dismissal, looking to probably go over mid-off. And Lamba has struck in his first over. So Atlanta Lightning, they lose one of their
sluggish, slowish pitch. And that is why he couldn't get no control, no power behind it, no timing. And went straight to the fielder. Harmeet Singh is not going to miss those. And that is an early wicket. That brings Sateja Mukhamala into the crease. A very, very impressive and talented youngster. under stiff examination. And that is the kind of examinations these cricketers keep getting on the circuit, which makes them so good when they go at the major league level or international level as well, playing for United States. That is their development from these tournaments and these pressure situations where they're able to come good.
Yeah, good bowling here from Abhimanyu Lamba. Starts pretty well, and we talked about if Clarion Eagles wins this one here, 4 teams will be on 4 points, and the fact is Clarion Eagles still have another game after this one, so they'll be playing 2 today. So they have got game in the bag. And if they win here, let's say they go up to 4 points, we get the feeling that with one more game to play, they've got some cushion to play with.
Yeah, and they're playing against Kolesher, who suffered 3 defeats, so probably not the toughest of the opponents in this group. Playing a miss. Static feet, just going with the hands. Lucky he didn't get a touch. 2 overs done, it's 4 for 1.
So earlier on, saw the dismissal of Smith Patel just punching a ball into the offside. And Harmeet Singh gleefully accepts. We've seen the departure of Smith Patel, Manang Patel and Sai Mukamala, who's been part of the international squad in the Shah Faisal for some years now.
Yeah, and impressive as well. Monak Patel's rise has been phenomenal in the last 2 years. He's a very free-flowing batter, good fun to watch when he gets going. Now Najaf gets the ball. Harmeet being replaced, bowling a very good 1 over. They just try to mix it up in this power play, not allowing the batters to settle. We're struggling to get settled anyway because of the conditions. But change of bowler is a different challenge that they have to endure throughout those first 3 overs now, as we start over number 3. In swinger, expected. It's incredible that most of these batters, they know what Najaf Shah is going to do. And despite that, he causes them trouble. So that is high quality of skill on display.
You're right, and that's Shah Faisal, and coupled with the fact that, first of all, he's played briefly at the international level, and he brings a wealth of experience. And that experience counts so much because he's been to these tournaments many times. You've seen him all across the United States. And he's played at a top level still.
Oh, there was confusion. Would have been very close. Strike rotation is important, but for that, calling has to be precise. Communication has to be good.
Yeah, a couple of good balls into this over from Najaf Shah. He really knows this craft pretty well, Shah Faisal, and he's always been called upon to give them a good start.
That is some stroke. Fielder was interested for a while, but it went over his head. That is a good counter punch there from Saimo Kamala.
Yeah, it's going to be a good rival between Najaf Shah. He's very good. We talked about how good he is. But Saimo Kamala, he's one of the bright prospect for this country for some time now. And look at that, a lovely shot into the onside. First 6 of the match. In fact, first boundary of the match. And that's a lovely shot from Saimo Kamala.
No slip for Najaf. Generally keeps a slip to keep the batter guessing if he wants to slide it away from them or bring him in. It's a good contest developing already. Good comeback from Najaf.
And Shah Faisal, when you look at both of these teams, we talked about the Clarion Eagles. They're the defending champions from last year. And of course, in 2022, Stallions, in fact, the Lightning they won in 2021. So both teams have tasted what it is to win at the Atlanta Open.
Indeed, and 4 seasons, 4 different winners. What is in store for us for this year? Competition is intense. So 3 of the 4 winners are still in contention. You mentioned Atlanta Lightning and the Clarion Eagles, Italian X also. They're in another then in Group A, I think, and that's where the competition is not as intense, but things are not as straightforward as well.
Yeah, we saw the Kingsmen also winning 1 year. So you talked about different champions every year. We'll see if that method continues in 2025.
Onto the pads. Good work. I take my earlier statement back about Usman Tariq not being very athletic. He brought out the dive, saved a couple of runs. Single to finish off over number 3 is 13 for 1. Okay, so this is the schedule. Schedule of matches for today. At match 17 between Thunderbolts and Kingsmen at Field 2. And there's quite a few games. That Clarion game later on in the day as well is also crucially important in this group. Group B, you've been calling Group A or Group B, both groups of death. They're turning out to be like that. Pre-tournament, probably you would have thought Group A would have been the group of death, but Group B is anything but.
Yeah, we saw Central Cardinals playing some very good cricket. And we saw when they won on opening day, we thought it was an upset, but not really so. They're a well put together squad.
Once again, would have been close, the direct hit. Hassan Krishnamurthy rather. Getting mixed up with players. There's so many quality fielders fielding at backward point very quick. Obviously Hassan is one of them, not playing in this game. But this was very close. Left hand pick up. He only had one stump to aim at, but couldn't find the timber. Going hasn't been easy for Lightning.
Yeah, we've seen good bowling here from Lamba. He's really come into his own. And Shaw Faisal, when you look at both Atlanta Lightning and Clarion Eagles, the first time they're playing at ground number 1. While we've seen rotation of pitches from match to match, you get the feeling that an average score on this pitch in this tournament, when you look at the scores that we have seen here, maybe 135. We saw a big one, Kingsmen posting 179 against Kulisheri. But other than that, the scores have fluctuated between 140, 130.
Playing a miss, good bounce. Sa looking to ride the bounce and get his hands up above the ball. Couldn't do so, the ball kept climbing on him. Excellent delivery from Abhimanyu Lamba. So you're our stats guru, Lenny. Tell me what any team has won batting first here at Field 1. You think of?
Well, let's look at what we got here. Kingsmen posted 179, and Kulshare only got a 121. So the teams batting first, they've made 130 and they've made 179, and they've won with that.
That's in the air. It's into the wind, but still has enough on it to go over the fence. Well, Sai comes back with a strong reply after getting beaten on the previous ball.
Well, his second 6 of the innings so far. We saw one of the bowling of Najaf Shah. And look at this one. A big shot into the onside again. Couple of sixes for Mukamala. And he's gone quickly up to 14.
very quick to pick up the length. Not a terribly bad delivery because it was cramping him for space, but Mukamala with his fast hands this time actually did get his hands above the bounce of the ball. Umpires are still thinking about that boundary. I think it, at the first glance, I thought it landed just slightly inside the rope. Harmeet is not happy. And now Akershit Gomal joins in. It landed pretty close to the dugout, so umpire Daniel James. I'm assuming that's the conversation, by the way.
Yeah, sure, Faisal, and you can't blame these teams when they will try to get it correct just for a couple of runs, because we know these games sometimes go very close. And whether it's a 4 or whether it's a 6, it comes back at some point in the game at times. Ball into the offside, and Shaw Faisal, let's look at what you were asking me. In fact, we'll probably continue that, but the teams batting first on this turf, and when they've posted something in the vicinity of 130, they were all chased down. 130 was not safe, 124 was not safe, 106 was not safe. The only score batting first on this field that has been a safe one is when Kingsman posted 179.
Yeah, but that would be the afternoon game, because the morning game on the opening day, we saw a score of 130. That was chased down, albeit in the last over with 3 balls to go. But yesterday, Stallion X could only post 106 in the morning, and the word that came out was that the batting was very difficult. Although this is a different strip to what we played on yesterday. So far, the evidence has been that although it's difficult, but it is possible to get to a score if you play with the method. Mukamala has put the good balls behind pretty quickly and ready for the next one, and he's been able to hit a couple of sixes to take that score up above 20. So in 4 overs, 2 of the scoring shots have been maximum. They brought 12 runs, and remaining 8 runs came in the remaining 22 deliveries. As we saw a single down the ground. Harmeet is back.
Yeah, we've seen also a good series from Monang Patel, 28, 35, and 24. We talked about Mukamala. His high has been 38 so far.
Shots a catch it, and it has carried. It's Lamba, I think, who took the catch. Extra bounce for Harmeet. Inside, just couldn't get over it. Hit it in the air and straight to the fielder. That is a big wicket.
Yeah, a very soft dismissal again. Mukamala straight into the hands of Abhimanyu Lamba. And now Harmeet Singh joins Lamba. And take a look at this one. Look at that. Just punch uppishly into the cover field. And a very good sharp catch from Lamba. And the second wicket falls here for the Atlanta Lightning, 21 for 2. So Mark Dial will come to the middle. And they're going on the 5 runs and over Shaw Faisal. We've seen a couple of wickets, 2 big wickets. Smith Patel and Mukamala back in the shade. And the left-hander, Mark Dial, he's played at the CPL level, Trinidad first-class player. And he comes out here with a long way to go. We are still in the power plays. And a couple of wickets in the bag, one for Harmeet Singh and one for Lamba. We've also seen an over from Najaf Shah.
Yeah, the experience keeps coming in. Mark Dial has got pedigree. Just they need a partnership. We've seen innings where they capitulate because of lack of partnerships. You have to have an extended run of two batters, stay in the middle, get settled. They can accumulate and then explode later. Left hand, right hand combination now in the middle.
And Shaw Faisal, we talked about the scenarios between the two teams. Atlanta Lightning will play their last game here. Clarion Eagles still got another one, and they'll be taking on Kulsher, who hasn't been really too stiff in this tournament.
Yeah, I was talking to Sarabjit Singh Ladda, Khulle Sher, meaning loose lines. And I said, well, they didn't play like lines. I'm not going to tell you what he said, how they played so far. Certainly not like lines. And they admit it. Overdone. 5 gone. It's 21 for 2. I'm on for first 10. All your gadgets. Let's say if you want to read, you can read. 21 for 2 after 5. Batting has been difficult, expectedly, and Clarion Eagles, having won the toss, they made the call to send Lightning in. Lenia Chabar is going to take a short break, and I've been joined in for the first time this morning in the combox by Aman Patel. A very good morning, Aman.
Good morning to you, Faisal. It's brilliant to be here in Buttonveers. A touch chillier maybe than it's been all week, but still plenty of action to heat us up.
Since you don't have the natural protection that I have, you need extra layers, although I'm having extra layers as well. It does feel chilly, doesn't it? That's gone. Couple of steps and bang. Went over the fence. Monak Patel gets into the act.
Yeah, touch of a slow start from the Lightning. And Monak Patel, he's in such rhythm. Goodness me. Just comes down the track to Najaf Shah, anticipates that ball to come back in, and just plays with the movement.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier that a lot of the players, they know what Najaf Shah is going to do. He still remains pretty successful, but Monak Patel was one step ahead of him. What's next? Gives himself some room. Another good strike, but long on will come around. He just gave himself room to get out of the way if that ball was to shape back in, so allow that free swing of the bat.
Yeah, field changed as well. The long on was pushed, so Monak Patel knew he didn't have to quite muscle it. Rather, he just saw him lift it. And again, that's been a staple of why he's been in such tremendous rhythm going back to Major League Cricket. He's picked his spots and he's recognized where his scoring options are, I think, probably the best of his entire career.
It surprises me that despite his run over the last 2 years, probably going back to the World Cup or even before that, hasn't been picked up by the rest of the world in the franchise leagues. I mean, he's been absolutely prolific.
Yeah, it's so difficult for those associate cricketers to get those opportunities overseas. I look at even a Brendan McMullen of Scotland, who is playing like the best all-rounder in the world at the moment, and he's struggling to find leagues. So there always is that bit of struggle, again, as a lower-known nation, to find your way up top. But we see more like leagues like the Nepal Premier League or the Bangladesh Premier League, the Lanka Premier League, promote guys like Lahido Malanta, Mohammed Mohsin, able to compete, Harmeet Singh in those tournaments. Even saw Hassan Khan at the BBL, which has been sensational to see.
Massive, yeah, absolutely. And the reason I say this because it's not just the runs that Monak Patel scores. It's just absolutely beautiful to watch. Even going for big shots, he looks very cultured and in great positions, easy on the eye, despite going for the big hits.
And I do think he's in the sweet spot right now. If you remember, a year ago in the international format, was really struggling to find runs in League Two in those T20s, but since that moment, he's been unbelievable.
Najaf hasn't tasted his usual success that he does in his first couple of overs. In fact, has been hit for a couple of sixes. Bit too cold for the all engine to warm up.
I wouldn't blame him for that if he were to blame the cold. But I think Najaf, he's so skilled, even on a surface that doesn't have much for him. Yes, maybe a bit damp given the moisture, maybe a bit sticky, but there isn't going to be a whole lot of movement. So it's all about the swing Najaf can impart. And, you know, in these days, he's not carrying the same pace that he was maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Up and over. And it will go over the fence. As his proactive batting from Monak Patel, not allowing Najaf to settle, making him change his length and then profit on it.
Again, he recognizes the length so early, in phenomenal position, opens up, and then created that width. So all he had to do was just go over. Batting in the power play is something Monak Patel has mastered in recent years, and again, hits it where the fielders aren't. Close of 6, 33 for 2. Faisal, for Atlanta, this isn't really a must-win. They're basically through. A win would confirm that, push them towards that top position and maybe get that bye tomorrow. But for Clarion, they have to win this game, otherwise they are in real jeopardy to be out of these playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. They can't look beyond this game at this stage. So they're upbeat. I mean, they got some advantage because they won the toss. And let's be honest, toss is an advantage in the morning games. So they can't blame anyone else if they don't get over the line and then don't put a performance in. Formidable bowling lineup as well. If you look through their bowling lineup, Harmeet, you've seen Najaf, and Usman Tariq, the man who's caused all the mystery recently in PSL and now in CPL as well. He's still yet to see the action. Stephen Wigg, I think, is into the attack.
Yeah, Stephen Wigg is another one of these tremendous bowlers, like the names you were mentioning. What he's done in the Eastern Division in minor league cricket has been nothing short of sensational. And you know, his best asset is his ability to hit the Yorkers late in the innings. But what he's really developed over the last couple of years is that early delivery that swings away from the left-hander.
That hasn't hit the middle of the bat, but luckily it lands in the gap. Mark Dial got lucky there.
It's always curious to see how batters deal with that bigger end of the ground, and that would be to the offside of the left-hander here. And he's almost glad that he didn't time it as well as he could, because that really would have found Sanjay Krishnamurthy, who was surveilling at backward point.
Yeah, that hit to the offside of a left-hander and now to the onside of the right-hander is with the wind, although the direction of the wind has slightly changed. It's coming over from mid-off to fine leg as you look at it. Gets squared up, but will be able to get a single. Monak Patel. That's good delivery from Stephen Wigg on a length and little bit of movement of the seam.
Yeah, would have seen a lot of each other given their time in the East in minor league cricket, and then Stephen Wigg obviously making his debut for the USA earlier this year out in Grand Cayman. So Monak Patel, just obviously the captain of the States, would have had a good look.
Little bit of movement. Once the ball keeping low, this morning we've seen pretty even carry, but into over number 7, Stephen Wigg probably not as tall as the other two bowlers. Didn't quite bounce as much.
He's much skiddier than most. He does have a high arm action, but tends to get a lot of skid, and he's very profitable because of it. This minor league season had 16 wickets at a strike rate of 12.
Change in field as we look. Third man has been brought in outside of power play, obviously, so there is more protection for Stephen Wig. Nicely timed, but straight to the fielder. Mohsin got in the way. Wig started off quite nicely. Not a lot of length or room for the batters to work with.
Yeah, and even after all the boundaries that have come off the bat of the Atlanta Lightning, think of Mukamala, even Monak Patel, you still only have those 35 runs. So it, again, speaks to the amount of dot balls per over. That dot ball percentage well too high for the Atlanta Lightning.
Well, that has been taken care of. Just helped it along. The angle was in his favor, and Mark Dial gets away with a maximum.
Yeah, just missing that time with Stephen Wig. Made it far too easy to the small side of the ground. And the way it just shot off the bat, there was never a question where that was going to end up. Close of over 7, 41 for 2.
The annual Atlanta Open T20 tournament returns October 7th to 12th in Atlanta, Georgia. Presented by Atlanta Fire Cricket and Tarek Real Estate, 12 teams packed with the best domestic and international T20 talent will be on show. Catch live action on the MLC Network, Willow Cricket, and T Sports.
Well, that's the man, Usman Tariq, the mystery spinner. Been given the ball. See what Monak Patel has got against him. Usman Tariq, what has he got now? Long on, long off. Deep mid-wicket, deep square leg, and a deep cover. Watch out for his release points. It's in the air. Oh, it fell short. I don't think Usman Tariq's ever gonna get a ticket for running the stop sign. He does make sure he stops in his delivery stride. Very unusual.
It's a big part of why he was so effective in the CPL just a month ago. Took 20 wickets across 10 innings, and again, it was his pausing. That's the variation that he brings into place. That's what T20 cricket is all about. How many variations do you have? Well, that just makes batters wait. And you know, in terms of American cricket scene, it reminds me a lot of Marty Kane. While Marty Kane wasn't intentionally slowing down, he did have a little pause, and that's why he was so effective as a left-arm spinner. And again, it's so exciting to see someone like this play here in the Atlanta Open.
Brings out the switch hit. Mark Dial. Usman Tariq took a pause, but so did Mark Dial. And then brought out the shot right in time.
Yeah, waited on it with third inside the ring. Just knew he had to get it past Najaf Shah and send him chasing. It's a good way to apply some pressure onto Tariq. Again, it could easily be just mounting and playing dot balls, but get the early boundary, and you can just take a little bit of the sting from Tariq's delivery.
Yeah, absolutely. And 2 full tosses out of 3. Maybe he's still cold as well. It's back on to a length and difficult to put him away from there. But like you rightly said, someone like him, if you get an early boundary, a single and a boundary, 5 of the over already. So in terms of earlier part of the innings, the pressure is almost off, and you just can pick up whatever is available after without risking your wicket. Disappointed. Probably Mark Dial with that. Full toss. Couldn't do much more with that.
And the other thing these early runs do, it forces Tariq to have to rethink, and that can force even more errors like these full tosses that we're seeing. You're forcing him very early in his day to go away from his natural game because you're putting the pressure back on.
No timing on that. 6 of the over from Usman Tariq. 8 gone, 47 for 2. Clarion Eagles won the game against Kingsmen yesterday, and they didn't require the services of Mohammad Mohsin with the ball. Pretty sure he's not too far away from bowling crease right now, as they've used up quite a few options already. Edgy, it will run away. Mark Dayal just saw the length and went after it. And although not where he intended, well, he'll take the result.
Yeah, unlucky for Stephen Wigg. It's well directed, shorter one, but that third fielder was just a bit too wide to make a difference on that play. 50 comes on the board now for the Lightning, and starting to climb out of the hole they found themselves in early. I do think Mohammad Mohsin is waiting to come into bowl for the left hit to be gone. When you get rid of Dayal, and you're left with a lot of right-handers to bowl at for the leg spinner.
Stepping away again, looking to be proactive, Mark Dayal. Not allowing the bowlers to settle into a plan. It can happen when a good delivery goes for a boundary earlier in the over. It puts you on the back foot a little bit as a bowler.
Yeah, no question. And again, it's how you readjust from that point as a bowler that sets you apart. And against these two batters in particular, Manik Patel, and we know how fluent he can be. And speaking of batters who are fluent, Stephen Taylor, Jamar Hamilton, just circling around as the line of fire, just with one game today.
Oh, that didn't carry. It was a slow delivery, the cutter. And no signal from the umpire. Yeah, if you didn't believe me earlier or Aman that it was cold, you might have seen Taylor and Hamilton all wrapped up. So you now could believe that it is pretty cold.
Yeah, luckily the wind's starting to die down. And once that wind goes away, it's not unbearable. When the wind was on, I really thought, okay, maybe I need another hoodie. Go to the car, grab another jacket.
Just wafts at it. Given as wide. Umpire Ravi throws his head back. Stephen Wigg. He didn't expect that.
Yeah, he was unhappy. He thought he found the length he wants to bowl to Dayal. And you expect him to be wider of the stumps given the fact that there's a bigger offside boundary. So you want Dayal hitting into that area. If it does pick up from the wind as well, it'll be blowing from that region. So all accounts say you want Dayal playing towards cover and point.
Flays it. Couldn't quite get the sweet spot out of the bat. Harmeet moved around quickly. But Mark Dayal is clearly showing his intentions. He's in the mood to go after the bowling.
Well, this batting lineup just is so deep for the Lightning. You don't really have the luxury to sit in because you have the likes of Jesse Singh coming in at 10 to bat. That's how deep this team goes. Still with the likes of Shamar Springer in the shed.
But the challenge here for the batters is that they see they have long batting lineup. They want to go too hard, sometimes too soon. But it is very difficult for the new batters coming in to get going. That's why partnerships are so key. You need to have at least one or two good partnerships and then take the innings deep because new batters won't find it easy coming in. Good call, good response. That is good cricket from Atlanta Lightning. looking to kick on and establish a platform in those middle overs. 9 gone, it's 57 for 2.
Another look here. Again, committed early, and that's why there was never even a throw made for a run in the infield. And like you mentioned, that's the key here at Butterbeers. You mentioned partnerships as well. I go back to yesterday. The Kingsmen were 42 for 4, and then Milind Kumar and Bonner, they were able to put together a partnership that lasted until the one after the 150 point. And then they were able to kick on and score 179. So the one big partnership's what's required here. And it's not easy to get going straight away. I think Milind Kumar's innings yesterday was really a fluky innings. That's the exception, not the rule.
Yeah, and that too was the afternoon game where conditions changed slightly. But yeah, Milind Kumar will take the plaudits, but Bonner's role was important too. Usman Tariq 2 straight on that occasion. I have to wait for the umpire's signal here. No signal, so he might have got a scratch on it.
The beautiful thing about Usman Tariq is that his pace doesn't always match the wait time. He'll sit there and then dart it in. He can go straight through and slow it down. And that's, again, another variation in his arsenal.
Oh, he got underneath that all right. And it sailed over. That is Monak Patel waiting for the opportunity to pounce, and does it in style.
He's been struggling with length today, Usman Tariq. We've seen plenty of full tosses. This one really is just in the slot. Slowed it down, and Monak Patel needs no second invitation.
The biggest challenge for the mystery bowlers is to keep that mystery. Once it's revealed, the challenge is bigger. And this one is sliding down the leg side, wide given. Usman suggests that it got something from Monak on the way. Umpire is not listening.
Still unhappy. Everyone involved there. Even the keeper thought maybe there was a piece of it.
Once again, the pattern in the last 3 overs or so, this boundary earlier in the over. And that is meant that the momentum is slightly building here. 21 when Sai got out. So they've got on to, 45 runs. That's the time where they would be feeling pretty good. 20 and 25 respectively for Mark Dayal and Monak Patel. You can afford to do that when you got a 6, a single and a wide away in the over. Not give him wickets, and that is the key.
Again, there's so many bowling options for the Eagles that you're not giving up wickets. You're going to be in position.
Peeling big. Mark Dayal suggests he got something on it. Not much support from behind the stumps from Matt Cross as well. Only Usman Tariq. He was sure.
He's a tame character, Matt Cross. Even if there's no bat, I'm not sure it's in the right height to be out as well. Looked like it came up pretty high on that front pad.
Usman is tall. He gets bounce. That was that quicker delivery. It went through him. Slightly obscured view to see if it hit the stumps or it came off Matt Cross and ricochet. Took the bails off. This will give us a better idea. At the halfway stage, it is a 66 for 2 Atlanta Lightning looking to set up a platform.
So 10 gone. They're batting at 2 down, 66 on the board. The action continues. Stephen Wigg gets a relief. And Mohsin comes into the attack. Looks like an inside edge. A run back here for Najaf Shah. And we come down to the remaining 59 balls here, Aman. They're going just over 6 runs and over.
They're setting themselves a platform. Again, a very deep batting lineup. Not easy to bat quickly on the surface, but you hold wickets together, and we've seen teams really benefit.
Slashed away over the offside runs here from Monang Patel. He's been good in this series. And fielder comes around, will only have to retrieve another boundary off the bat of Monang Patel.
He's been good all summer long, and now into the fall. Maybe a bit streaky on this occasion, didn't quite get it out of the middle, but knew exactly what he wanted to do. Just lifted over the infield and played away behind square on the offside.
Yeah, we talked about how good Monang has been. His lowest has been 24 in 3 matches. And so his production rate has really been good for the Lightning. It's a team that he's been part of this season, Aman Patel.
Yeah, back in the Southern Division minor league cricket, captained the Lightning and was brilliant early in the year. A 49, just off 22 deliveries, and then a 50 in just 28 of them to start the season off, but had maybe a tamer end as the Lightning's matches came down here to Rydal.
Yeah, driven straight down the ground from Mark Dial, who's been on the CPL circuit at one time, and a man who plays his trade in the South also. And this partnership has gone up to beyond 50, 53. Very important runs here for the Atlanta Lightning. We talked about the scenarios. A win here for the Lightning will separate them from 2 other teams on 4 points. And a win for the Clarion Eagles will put 4 teams on 4 points, Aman. So much to play for.
Is a must-win for the Eagles, and they know it, and that's why Mohsin's in. I think they were trying to see if Dayal would just get out, get rid of the left-hander to bring in your leggy, but they understand what the situation requires, and Mohsin's one of their best bowlers. He arguably is the best leg spinner in the country. Let him loose.
Driven into the long on area, and that will complete over number 11. So 11 gone is 75 for 2.
Yeah, brilliant partnership this for the Atlanta Lightning, especially after Simon Kamala goes. It's just 22 runs for 2 wickets. And then Patel and Dayal have just steadied the ship. 33 for Patel, 21 for Dayal, and they both seemingly are starting to heat up now, which bodes so well for the Lightning and their case to try to get to that top spot in the group.
So Usman Tariq will continue. We saw yesterday on ground number 5, got a 4-wicket haul. And we've seen Monang Patel played some big shots of Usman Tariq. A couple of 6s for him so far, and this partnership continues to blossom.
Yeah, and it's been a struggle with the length for Tariq. He's been far too full too often. He'll be the first to tell you that. But when he's operated on a good length, we've seen him create LBW appeals. We've seen it really just be dead bats from the pair out there. So Tariq hasn't been his best self yet, but things can change.
Yeah, you look at Mark Dial and the composition here. Man, we saw not too long ago, Usman Tariq would have been part of the TKR franchise that won CPL this year. Mark Dial has been part of them at some point. And also 2 USA players, Netravalka and Ali Khan, being part of that unit. So much to talk about. He's going for a big one, doesn't succeed this time, but Tariq is one of the top class off spinner. Has been able to apply this trade with some bit of success.
Length has been much better in this over. He's kept it out of the hitting arc of both batters, and you're seeing the dots because of it.
So wide is the call, and talked about the partnership have gone beyond 50. Good knock from Monang Patel and Mark Dial. Yeah, over the offside. Will find the gap in front of Sanjay Krishnamurti. And another good-looking shot from Manang Patel. He picks up another boundary.
That is a ridiculous stroke from Monak Patel. He's picked the length very early, got deep in his crease, and he's given himself the width and the room to just nudge it over that short cover fielder. Everything about that was intentional. And you just have another look at this, the ease and the power that just came off the bat with Monak Patel. That's why his summer has been so fruitful, and why there's so many considering that he should be in other franchise leagues around the world.
Yeah, we saw yesterday Hassan Khan. Whenever the spinner bowls short, a lot of time the tendency is to hit them square. But we've seen yesterday from Hassan Khan a couple of times in a good knock that we saw on the other pitch. Like Manang Patel today, if the ball is short, you can still go straight.
And he's not looking to overhit either, which is the bigger thing. He's looking to time it.
Yeah, driven into the offside. The running has been good. So 12 gone. It's 84 for the loss of 2. So the action continues. Harmeet Singh comes back into the attack. Couple of overs from him. He's been quite economical at the top of the order. Picked up 1. Picked up the wicket of Sai Mukamala earlier on. But we've seen a big partnership here between Mark Dial and Manang Patel. Oh, smashed down the ground and gone high. Fielder comes in. 2 hands to the ball, and he puts it down.
Stephen Wigg was in great position. He did all the hard work, moving well to his left. You can see right there at the end, as he's falling to the ground, he's unable to keep his eyes on the ball, and that just forces a slip out. Harmeet Singh, he'd only get, before that delivery, gone for 3 runs in his first 2 overs and nearly had his second wicket.
Yeah, into the hands of Najaf Shah. So the reverse hit doesn't go too well for Mark Dial. He's gone. Easy catch for Najaf Shah.
Just incredibly intelligent from Harmeet Singh. Pulled the length back, kept it quick, a little bit of extra bounce, and again with 3rd inside the ring, it's a measured risk, but they are unable to execute. And Najaf Shah this time, no mistake in the field.
Yeah, the big partnership comes to an end. Harmeet Singh, he's been so good. And now he's bowling a 2 for 5. Very good bowling here from Harmeet Singh. So Javel Glenn will come to the middle. And we talked about Aman, the spin options available here for the Clarion Eagles. Harmeet Singh, Usman Tariq, Mohamed Mohsin. And we've seen the seamers or the fast bowler, Najaf Shah, Abhimanyu Lamba, and Stephen Wigg. So 6 bowlers used so far. Javel Glenn comes to the middle. And they're going just about 7 runs and over. They've lost 3. And Manang Patel looks solid out in the middle.
And then wanting to keep that left-right combination going. That's why Javel Glenn's come out there to bat. Does a lot of work in the Southern Division, so would be accustomed with this ground. But he just needs to be able to facilitate with Manang Patel, as you mentioned, who's starting to find real rhythm. Most of the bowlers taking it away from him. So can Glenn take advantage of your Harmeet Singh to a smaller leg side.
So Javel Glenn comes in here over number 13. We've seen a good bowling spell from Harmeet Singh. Starts pretty well, and Javel Glenn is quite on the defense. We talked about Atlanta Lightning being one of 3 teams with minor league branding. We've also seen Seattle Thunderbolts and of course the Atlanta Fire. And we've seen some well-established team. We talked about different winners every year. And the defending champs, they're out in the field. Clarion Eagles from 2024. So much to play for today. And then of course we're getting to the eliminator and then the semifinals on Saturday and then the grand final on Sunday. So Glenn gets off the mark. Ball into the offside. It looks like Sanjay Krishnamurti is out there. And he gets going.
And you mentioned the 4 different winners in 4 years. There's so much parity in this competition. The Eagles, again, defending champions, they're on the outside looking into these playoffs. There's a situation where tomorrow they don't play. And you look at their roster. You have Matthew Cross of Scotland International. You have Harmeet Singh. You have Akarshit Gomel. You have Mohammed Mohsin, Najaf Shah. This is a very, very good unit. But the competition is so fierce here in Atlanta.
Lovely shot over the offside. And it will go away for a boundary. We'll wait for the confirmation. And it looked like it's gone for 4. So a lovely commanding shot from Monank Patel. Gone for 4.
Excellently well played. Maybe a touch over pitched, but it's all about placement for Monank Patel. Opens up the face and guides it into a vacant extra cover region. Close of 13, 91 for 3.
So match day today. A lot of games happening, 3 games simultaneously, and that will continue for the 2 p.m. slot. And so a lot of games today, and folks, if you want to catch up on all these games, you can go to the MLC network. I'm pretty sure you're there, hence you're watching this feed. And you can catch up on all the games there. And if numbers are your thing, you can go to PVCC Cricket Clubs. And you can catch up with all the numbers, all the scorecard, what's happening, the fixtures and points table. And you'll be able to follow with some bit of solid coverage as we provide you coming from the Atlanta Open. Lamba will continue. And our man Lamba has been quite steady at the top. Shaw Faisal and I talked about the preference to go with him in favor of a Najaf Shah or a Stephen Wigg.
Yeah, Lamba's been one of the more impressive seam bowlers in the last couple of years. You'd think about his minor league career with the St. Louis Americans. He's had to do most of the work up there, but what you love about him is just the ease that he bowls with, and then he has so many skills up his sleeve. It's not
Judge catch from Sanjay Krishnamurti.
Not often you see the fingers up by the neck. You see the way he's taken this one. He's actually called it very early. Running around, it looked like there was a collision in place. And look where he's taken it and how he's taken it. Well done, Sanjay Krishnamurti. The extra pace from Lamba proves to be the little trick. And then he slows this one down, forcing that leading edge. Monank Patel has a solid start to his day. But the Eagles finally break through and maybe just break into this lineup. He goes for 43. It's 92 for 4.
So you get a round of applause from his teammates. For a well-played knock, might have been disappointed. He did not push on to get a half century, but Shamar Springer makes his way to the middle. 2 West Indian out there now. Aman Patel, we talked about the influx of players from all across the globe. You look at Matthew Cross, the keeper here today, out of Scotland. We've seen some players out of UK, West Indies, Pakistan, India. And they've come to the event, this event once again, the Atlanta Open in 2025. So Shamar Springer joins Javel Glenn. And Lamba has picked up his second wicket, that of Monank, and earlier on picked up the wicket of Sai Mukamala. So he's been good.
Now I have to bowl to Shamar Springer, who, remember, got a really a start in minor league cricket, if you will, for the Atlanta Lightning, was brilliant, and then had a great CPL a year ago. Got his loan call-up to the West Indies team, debuted in T20 cricket a year ago, back in October of 2024. And he's working his way back into that national side.
And you get the feeling that he's come with one of those West Indies helmets, Aman, always proud to wear. Into the offside, Harmeet Singh is the fielder. You look at Matthew Cross, the wicketkeeper here. He comes out of the Scottish team.
And it's been tremendous to see Matthew Cross here in the States over the last couple of years. Obviously, you had the League Two Tri-Series back in October last year, where he would have been featuring, was a vice captain in that series as well. And again, Matthew Cross, he's an explosive bat in that middle order. Be very excited to see what he has to offer.
Oh, into the offside. Easy catch in the end. And that's another wicket here for Lamba. This time, Javel Glenn gone.
And this is why, amongst all the names of Stephen Wigg and Najaf Shah, Abhimanyu Lamba time and time again gets the call because he's just a wicket taker. Just got a little bit of bounce off the surface. Glenn just pushing away. Slices the bat in half, and one brings two, and the Eagles are very much back in this contest. Score now moves 93 for 5.
Yeah, 3 for 11 so far from Lamba. Might have been Saif Badar who takes an easy catch at point. And so trouble here for the Atlanta Lightning. All of a sudden they're batting at 5 down for 93 on the board. And we've seen a flurry of wickets in the last 2 overs or so, Aman. 3 down for 86, 4 down for 92, and now 5 down for 93 as Soptai walks to the middle.
And again, we talk about depth in batting. Sohaib Tai is someone for the Atlanta Lightning a year ago, opened the batting for their minor league franchise. He's come into the number 4 position this season for them in minor league cricket, and now he's coming in here at number 7. Again, speaks to the depth and the quality of this Lightning batting order. But, like we heard from Faisal, you've said it a couple of times, it's not easy to get going early on this wicket. And you're in the business end of the innings where you have to now really look to push into the 130s, 140s.
And Aman, those numbers that you called there, we talked about what has been a good first innings score. Well, on the high end, it has been 179 posted by the Kingsmen. And what we've seen in three other game on this ground, not necessarily the pitch, that's another good delivery here from Lamba, goes through to Matthew Cross, is that teams have made 130 and not hold up. Teams have made 128 and have not held up. And so we'll have to wait and see what Lightning does.
And the batting lineup for the Clarion Eagles is not an easy one to crack. Sanjay Krishnamurthy, Matthew Cross, Akarshit Gomel, so many tremendous, Saif Badar, so many tremendous bats, and then you get to your all-rounders of Mohsin and Harmeet Singh.
Yeah. And you get the feeling the toss is always very important to win in the morning session. Now he comes down the track into the offside. Harmeet Singh will run around, and so Soptai is off the mark. 14 gone. It's 94 for 5. Atlanta Lightning haven't been sent in.
Atlanta Fire, star-studded Atlanta Fire, one of the favorites.
And deep, and that one is smacked.
this one is lobbed into the onside. A slow, short ball. So Harmeet Singh will continue, 36 balls remaining. And he will finish up here, Aman Patel, but Soptai and Shamar Springer, two relatively new batters out in the middle.
It's a great time for Harmeet Singh to pounce. He's always looking to take wickets. He's has the attitude of a fast bowler.
Oh, well executed shot from Soptai. One bounce goes away for 4.
Soap has a lot of experience domestically back in India, and so he's very accustomed to playing spin and on wickets that are turning. So this wouldn't be anything new to him. Got into a position very early and just utilized Harmeet Singh's pace.
Yeah, a couple of good innings for him in this series. Got a 15, got a 29. And he comes in here over number 15 in progress, and you get a feeling with run a ball, something in the vicinity of 130 on the cards. But as we have seen, and those numbers that I told you, 130 hasn't held up on this on this ground. But we'll wait and see. Early morning game. Harmeet will finish up here. A couple of wickets for him already. Got 2 big wickets, Saman Patel. 2 big names, Mukamala and Mark Dial.
Yeah, huge to especially get Simon Kamala out as early as he did, because he's someone who's again carrying tremendous form from modern league cricket. Probably the pick of the bats out in the Eastern Division where you hail from, and to get his wicket just again allows you to claw into this attack. And you mentioned the economy rate that he went at. First 2 overs just went for 3 runs, and I think that's maybe even more important, that he was so clinical so early.
And we talked about the art of slow left arm spin, very prominent in this tournament like many others. 99 on the board. Shamar Springer can score. Score remains at 99. And we've seen another cheap over here from Harmeet Singh. So 15 gone. It's a 99 for the loss of 5. So 15 gone, 99 for 5. Shaw Faisal slips into the box. Faisal, we're looking at 99 for 5 now with 5 overs remaining here for the Atlanta Lightning.
Well, they worked really hard to build the platform. Then those 3 wickets fell quite cheaply from 86. From 86 for 3 to 93 for 5, 7 runs and 3 wickets has pegged them back. 2 new batters looking to re-establish that control by building another partnership. Still time left for them. The likes of Shamar Springer and Swaib Tai, 2 very, very good players.
So Usman Tariq continues, and he's been good. Saw very good spin bowling from Harmeet Singh. We saw a little bit of Mohammad Mohsin. Looking to reverse and into the offside. Doesn't go too well.
It's a very, very round armish delivery. A rib tickler there in this cold weather for Swaib Tai. It's obviously not a spring chicken anymore. This is really blustery and cold, Lenny. We feel like we're in your part of the world.
Yeah, we've enjoyed 2 warm days. We were enjoying, what, 82, 83 yesterday and the other day, but today I think it's going to get up to maybe 70 or maybe 72, the highest.
It's 66 right now, but it feels a lot chillier than that.
Yeah, and if you look at anything fluttering in the wind, you'll see how windy it has been.
8 miles per hour. The wind. It's the westerly. Slight change in direction in the wind as well. As Usman Tariq is bowling, used to come from his left shoulder to his right. Now it's coming from long on to fine leg rather to long off. As we look at those pictures.
Yeah, the run rate has been under 7. Saw a big knock from Monang Patel and Mark Dial, a half century of partnership. Yeah, the 100 comes up. Shot down the ground from Soptai. So 100 on the board. Always good to see those 3-figure marks, Shaw Faisal.
Yes, it does indeed, and good thing they have done so far. They haven't given Usman Tariq the wicket.
Yeah, this has been a very good over from Usman Tariq. Only seen a couple of runs, one off the bat, one wide.
Let's see if Usman gets greedy and looks to buy a wicket towards the end of his spell. Just happy to build that pressure by not conceding. One ball to go. 26, 27 of his 3.5. But the key thing is he hasn't got a wicket, and with 5 down, if he was able to pick up a wicket in this over, will put more pressure on Lightning.
Yeah, tries to go big. And we'll wait and see. Could be bias. And so that will complete 16. And after 16, it's 103 for 5.
Can we see the replay, please? Replay. Last ball. No signal from the umpire on the previous delivery. Obviously, Usman Tariq is as difficult to pick for the wicket keepers as well as he is for the batters. Atlanta Lightning owners well wrapped up. This has been an intriguing battle, and it's still on. Could be anybody's game. Crucial last 4 overs. 40 odd runs from here on in. Add to that total, close to 145, 150. Atlanta Lightning would feel that they've got something. In fact, more than something. Like Lenny, you said, 130 wasn't enough on the first morning here. But the game stretched to the last over. This is that last delivery. Usman Tariq's reaction would suggest. Still happy to applaud the wicketkeeper for his efforts. Realizing it is difficult to pick his deliveries, but was happy to close out the over without too much damage.
Yes, so difficult on inside edges, Shaw Faisal. Way more difficult than outside edges.
They are.
So
Definitely.
Stephen Wigg. Ball driven into the offside. Let's talk about inside edges and outside edges. Most of the time, even when you bat Shaw Faisal, you're more inclined to play for the ball. We're more of an outside edge than an inside edge, and so keeping.
Yeah, wicket keeping inside edges, it generally for the incoming delivery, and wicketkeeper gets blinded sometimes by the batter, by the equipment, and the downslide of the bat as well. Having done a little bit of wicket keeping, I feel like everything that goes by the wicketkeeper, everyone calls it a chance. That is very harsh at times. Sometimes there is a massive deflection, and because the wicketkeeper's gloves gets close enough, people think that, oh, it was a chance. It is not fair to wicketkeepers generally.
Yeah, the reason I ask, because a lot of time, you look at Matthew Cross here now, and pretty sure that as Stephen Wigg runs into bowl, he's looking to skip across to the right more than anything else, especially in T20 cricket when you don't have slips. He's going to try and cover not only the outside edge, but also a little bit of first slip.
Yeah, all the wicket keepers in their movements, in their setup, they cater for the outside edge. That is where they get ready. And inside edge, sometimes catch him off guard, and if you're not on balance, you could really be found wanting. Stephen Wigg. Excellent. Aman Patel talked about his ability to bowl Yorkers and mixing it up with length deliveries, angling across. That shorter length followed by the fuller length. Although the angle was the same, Shamar Springer hasn't been able to put bat to ball on the last 3 deliveries.
Yeah, this has been a very good over from Stephen Wigg, and we talked about his workload. Oh, slice into the offside, running up towards the backward point area. Chase here from Mohammed Mohsin. Can't get to the ball, and that's a well-executed shot from Shamar Springer. 4 runs.
He makes amends, Shamar Springer. Once again, that wide Yorker angling away. This time he was able to just get the bat underneath it and slice it over that fielder at point. Running downhill. Bit of a momentum. Look at this. Clearing that front leg. Getting ready if Wigg was to err in length to get underneath it, but then even with a perfect delivery, execution was good from Springer.
So the over comes to an end, and over that only conceded 5 from Stephen Wigg, and so 17 gone. It's 108 for 5.
Yeah. 140 should. Parchment. Parchment is. Three overs to go. 108 for 5. Sweep tie will have to take matters into his own hands.
So Lamba will bowl out here. He's been good, Shah Faisal. 3 for 12.
Yeah, very impressive. New ball, he was able to get the ball through at good pace and good bounce. Now time to show off his variations. Starting off over number 18 quite beautifully. Sweep ties, very experienced. I think for memory, he's been player of the match twice in this tournament already. Definitely contributes with both bat and ball. Experienced cricketer.
Lofted into the offside. Fielder comes in. Takes the catch. And we'll wait and see. He has been given out. Yep. And so that's the end of Soap Tie. A magnificent catch from Sanjay Krishnamurti. And the 6th wicket falls.
Outstanding catch from Sanjay Krishnamurti. He took the catch and then threw the ball back in the air. And on both occasions, he was inside the fielder play when he first took it and when he took it for the second time. That is great piece of awareness and athleticism. It happened right in front of us. We had a good view, no doubt whatsoever, with that second skip as well. Terrific catch. And he needed to come up with something brilliant because Sweep tie could have made the difference in the last 2.5 overs. He's gone now, and it's 108 for 5.
So Jesse Singh will come to the middle. Not much time left here in this innings, but Clarion Eagles, they continue to take wicket, Shah Faisal, and nothing slows a scoring rate down than when you're getting wickets.
Another look at that. Slow it down, that second skip. Before the ball makes contact with his hands, he's up in the air and inside the field of play. That is terrific catch. One of the very, very best catches that you see even in this modern day and age where these catches are becoming more and more of a norm. But that was probably the play of the day so far for me.
Yeah, Shah Faisal, and you look at Sanjay Krishnamurti, and he's so aware what needs to be done. You see 2 hops, and that is because every time he touches the ball, he knows you've got to be off the ground. Here is Jesse Singh, and he gets off the mark by a very cheeky, well, in fact, they'll come back for a couple of runs, but he's off the mark with 2.
Yeah, Lamba, 15 yards out, stump and a half to him, and Jesse Singh was short. Couldn't score a direct hit, and that resulted in an overthrow. He had to go for it, Lamba. He had no options, and that was the right thing to do as well. It's just he couldn't execute it.
So, folks, today is the last group stage of this tournament. Tomorrow is the eliminators. Cut away from Jesse Singh. Could pick up 2 more. Good running. Good shot from Jesse Singh.
Yeah, Harmeet Singh challenging him. Jesse Singh really had to put the skates on to beat Harmeet's throw. That's a good start from Jesse Singh. 4 runs after the fall of wicket. Sweptai will consider himself very unlucky because it was beautifully stroked. And it was away from Krishnamurthy, but the brilliance of Krishnamurthy saw him depart. These kind of catches can be the difference between victory and defeat.
So a couple of balls here for Abhimanyu Lamba. He's picked up 4 wickets so far. And so big bowling spell from him given the new ball.
4 for 16, absolutely outstanding in the big game. In the face of some big brand names in the team, Abhimanyu Lamba has really shone brightly on this gloomy morning today. Be very delighted. His skipper and team management would be elated, in fact, with his performance. Where Najaf has, for once, had an off day. Abhimanyu Lamba really came to the fore.
So his spell will come to the end here. 4 for 17. Impressive stuff from Lamba. 18 gone. It's 113 for 6. So final 2 overs. Stephen Wigg will bowl 1. Jesse Singh into the offside. They go through for 1. Shah Faisal, Shamar Springer, Jesse Singh. We're down to the last couple of overs remaining.
2 big strikers of the ball. So these are 11 very, very important deliveries in the context of the not just the match, but the situation in the group as well. A lot riding on those last 11 balls. Can Springer find boundaries? It'll be very difficult against this sort of delivery from Stephen Wigg. Absolutely terrific. 2 balls in a row in this 19th over. He's found the right line and the perfect length.
Yeah, Shah Faisal, and you get the feeling he's bowling the 19th here. Maybe Najaf Shaw will be the man to finish up. We'll wait and see. Two left armers. Seen a good start from Stephen Wigg. Couple of runs in 2 balls. Jesse Singh up towards the mid-off area. Can only get 1. Good bowling here from Stephen Wigg.
Yeah, not allowing the room or the length to get underneath those big strikers. They would thrive on length deliveries at this stage of the innings, and Stephen Wigg so far hasn't given them any opportunity. But it doesn't mean the over can change very quickly if Wigg falters. So every ball needs a proper concentration and proper execution. There is no margins for error here.
Yeah, looking to go reverse. Goes through to Matthew Cross. And still a quality over here from Stephen Wigg. He's only gone for 3 in 4 balls.
Yeah, premeditation there from Shamar Springer. Otherwise, there was a low full toss. But pressure built during those first 3 deliveries, so Springer thought that he had to come up with something different. This has been exceptional so far from Stephen Wigg.
Yeah, he goes into the onside, will not find the gap. Krishnamurti has been good. Very fast moving Krishnamurti. Couple of runs for Shamar.
Yeah, good out cricket there. Krishnamurti across the turf is very quick with a good arm as well. Shamar Springer is also not coming slow because Stephen Wigg knows he's in the battle. And that is what happens when 2 top quality cricketers come head to head. There have been plenty of good head-to-head battles throughout this innings. But in the last 5 overs or so, you have to say that the bowling team, the Eagles, have held their nerve and made it very difficult for these big strikers to find boundary regularly.
So final ball in an over that has gone for only 5. And look at that, could be looking for 2. Settle for 1 Harmeet Singh. He's also quick. And so a very good over here from Stephen Wigg. Comes to an end. Only 6 off it. 19 gone. It's 119 for 6. So we come down to the last over. And as predicted, Shah Faisal, Najaf Shah has been given the ball.
Crucial over still. We know that in T20 cricket, a 20 run over is not too far away at any stage. But Najaf Shah with his usual record could be lethal. I see our very own Liam Momchan in action somewhere.
I think maybe it's on the other ground behind us.
One of our cameramen captured him bowling, but this is where all the focus is right now.
So Najaf Shah will come in here. He has gotten the final over. He's gone for quite a few today, Shah Faisal. None for 19. Oh, pulled away, and that's gone a long way. And we'll have to wait and see. Gone for 4. A good start to the 20th over. Lovely shot from Shamar Springer.
Yeah, back of a length. Not the usual Yorker length that you would expect from Najaf. Have to say in this cold weather, haven't bowled for a while. Haven't been really in active fielding positions. Very difficult to get warmed up so quickly. And like I say, these games, there isn't much margin for error. Had to be spot on for the remaining 5 deliveries, Najaf Shah.
So outside the off stump it goes, called a wide. And Shah Faisal, we talked about what has held up on this ground number 1. Well, the only big score that has really held up here is Kingsmen posting 179. Other than that, we saw Raiders Unlimited posting 130, was chased down. We saw Atlanta Force putting 124, that was chased down. And you can expect, we saw one time Stallions X, they posted 106, you can't win with that. Slice into the offside, straight to the fielder.
Yeah, that 179 and 160 is totally out of context because these are afternoon games. And Kingsman X's 179 was against an opposition that was not quite their match. These two are evenly matched. So were probably the teams that played on the opening day. 130 played 131 in 19.3. So anywhere around 135, between 135, 145, still a good total.
So
Jeff is struggling in this over 2 wides. Looking to keep the ball away from the hitting arc. Generally relies on that movement for his Yorkers as well. The tail in.
So the over's gone for 6 so far. We've got halfway through the final over. Jesse Singh and Shamar Springer towards the end here.
change of field. Square leg has been brought in and the offside field being strengthened. He wants to bowl that wide Yorker. He tried. Good execution from Najaf. Just hold his back and allow for the single. It will suggest they do not mind giving away the single. And last two deliveries with Shamar Springer. 135. Can he come up with two big hits, Shamar Springer?
Yeah, a couple of sixes will give them 138. A 6 and a 4 will give them 136. So here we go. Couple of balls remaining. Good delivery again from Najaf Shah. Those fast offside Yorkers.
Yeah, he's warmed up all right now. That first delivery, he's caught a bit cold. Probably that wide also, an effort ball. Was experienced enough to suggest that I'll give away a wide to get myself warmed up instead of getting hit for 4 or 6 by bowling in the arc for the batters. And since then, it has been a terrific over.
Final ball in straight. Krishnamurti runs around, not tall enough, and it's gone away for a boundary. Gone away for 4.
Yeah, the bounce was a bit too much for Krishnamurti. It covered the ground, but it bounced high enough for him to could lay a hand on it. But that's a boundary to close out innings. And this has been a seesaw battle. 130 on the board. Lightning, after setting up a wonderful platform, they'll be slightly disappointed with the eventual outcome. But runs on the board still in a crucial game, almost a knockout game for the Eagles. Lightning will have to do the job with the ball and in the field, but pretty happy will be the Eagles because at 86 for 2, they were looking down the barrel. They came back strongly. Excellent effort in the field there and with the ball for the most part.
Yeah, we saw a big bowling performance. Yeah, there we go. Smith Patel and Sai Mukamala went pretty cheaply, but we saw a big partnership from Monang Patel, who got into the 40s, and Mark Gial, a partnership that went up to about 60 plus at one point. And I'm sure Faisal mentioned they were batting at 86 with 2 at about the 12 over mark. And you look at the card, might have been a disappointment for the batting team. 130 for 6 at the end of the 20 overs.
Here bowling, outstanding from Abhimanyu Lamba. 4 for 17, given the new ball, given the responsibility, and he really thrived and produced a wonderful spell of bowling. Harmeet Singh is a banker. You can always trust on him. 2 for 15. Najaf Shah, not his usual self, but still bowled a very good last over. Stephen Wigg, I thought in the middle overs, was pretty impressive.
Yes.
Well, that middle part is quite productive from over number 6 onwards all the way to over number 13. But after that, wickets fell, and up until that last over, there was all single-digit overs. That meant that the platform was built, but they couldn't really capitalize on it, the Atlanta Lightning.
Yeah, we saw good backup bowling from Stephen Wake towards the end. Bowled some very tight overs. Usman Tariq, he came with 7 runs and over, and we saw one from Mohammed Mohsin that only conceded 9. Yeah, we talked about the scenarios with these 2 matchups here, Clarion Eagle.
Some highlights from the innings. Started off with that wicket from Smith Patel. But then that wicket and Monak Patel started off, tried to rebuild alongside Saimo Kamala, who put Najaf Shah away for a 6. He actually looked quite good, Saimo Kamala, for the brief period that he was in the middle. And was some scares with the running between the wicket, but that was the phase where Harmeet was bowling, got one to bounce slightly higher to take care of Saimo Kamala. That's where the partnership started, and it really propelled between Monak Patel and Mark Dial. They competed each other with blow for blow and took the score way past 80. Some luck along the way. Obviously, in these conditions, you do need the luck. Usman Tariq wicketless today, and Monak depositing him over with Mark Dial trying to come up with all the options.
Yeah, we talked about a big partnership that really set the stage for what was to come. Look at that lovely strike through the offside from Monang Patel, and then Mark Dial fell. And not too long after, we saw a couple of good shots still from Monang Patel, but look at this one. Tapped into the offside. A very good catch by Sandra Krishnamurti. Sandra Krishnamurti would go on to take a couple of catches after that. But the steady bowling from Lamba, who picked up a 4-wicket haul. And towards the end, we saw the likes of Shamar Springer, Jesse Singh trying to put their team in a good position. And look at that, slice off the bat, a run away for 4 off the bat of Shamar Springer. He's been very good in this series. Soptai looked pretty good for 1 shot. And look at that, a brilliant catch from Sanjay Krishnamurti, probably the catch of the day so far. But look at good bowling here from Abhimanyu Lamba. Najaf Shah came back towards the end, tried to finish things up. And that's the final ball you saw there of the bowling of Najaf Shah. So 130 posted by the Atlanta Lightning. And we'll take you over to Aman Patel for a quick interview.
Here with Abhimanyu Lamba. 4 wickets for you today. What were you trying to do on the wicket?
Like, the wicket is pretty good for the batsman. I'm just trying to hit on the right areas with the pace off. That's helped me a lot today.
130 on the board. What do you think about that total?
Like it's easy total. The way we felt, like it's a good wicket. Not much. It's not turning a lot, not gripping. Like maybe we'll chase easily.
There you go. Well played and good luck today, Abhimanyu.
Thank you so much.
Back to you guys.
Atlanta Fire. Star-studded Atlanta Fire.
I'm joined with Carmine Leroux, and Carmine has been a very busy period. You've been on the road for a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's come straight off of some minor league stuff. Obviously, we got through to the playoffs, so it was from Dallas straight to here. And obviously, I mean, a packed schedule this side as well.
Or let me ask you, is it a good thing to be playing so much cricket? Some cricketers say yes.
Yeah, I think there's a balance. I think you can overdo it, but I do think it helps keep the body going, especially as a bowler. Like you obviously getting some loads in, but obviously that back-to-back day that was pretty tough on the first day, and then obviously to come back with another 2, and obviously not knowing the situations now, but there could be another 3 days on the card as well.
Right, we know how it goes. The more you win, the more you play. Let's talk about what's ahead for the Atlanta Lightning. A big game here. You're taking on Clarion Eagles, who have won at this tournament before, and a win here will put you at the top of the table. How you're feeling as a fast bowler in this series?
Yeah, I think I'm glad that I could have contributed to the team. I think we've done really well, obviously in patches. And I mean, obviously, Clarion's a really strong team, but I feel like we've also got a really packed side as well.
All right, let's talk about the conditions for the bowler at this facility. I know this is the first time I've seen your team play on this ground, while the pitch, of course, have gone through some rotation. What you make of the surfaces that you bowled on in the series?
Yeah, we had a game on pitch 5, which had a massive grass patch, which went through a little bit, and then actually yesterday's wicket was a really, really good wicket. The ball was going through, there was value for shots, so I mean, all in all, it's good for the game, good for cricket. This wicket's our first time playing on it. Looks a little bit too paced. I know spinners generally come into play at Atlanta Open, but we'll see how it goes.
All right, our final question. In the last 2 years, of course, through the minor league setup, a lot has been going on into preparing a lot more turf cricket across the country. Isn't that a good sign of the progress?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. As professional cricketers, that's what you need to be playing on, and playing on more frequently. So the more that we can get that, and the more people we have that can maintain that, I mean, obviously the better for the game, right?
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, there we have it. Carmi Leroux having a chat with the Atlanta Open.
Atlanta Fire.
Star-studded Atlanta Fire, one of the favorites.
Man, deep, and that one is smack.
Oh, this one is lobbed into the onside. A slow, short ball.
The annual Atlanta Open T20 tournament returns October 7th to 12th in Atlanta, Georgia. Presented by Atlanta Fire Cricket and Tarik Real Estate, 12 teams packed with the best domestic and international T20 talent will be on show. Catch live action on the MLC Network, Willow Cricket and T Sports. Atlanta Fire, star-studded Atlanta Fire, one of the favorites.
Man, deep, and that one is smack.
Oh, this one is lobbed into the onside. A slow, short ball.
In for innings number 2, and set to be a good one. 131 set to chase. It feels like an in-between target, but with this wicket, could just be really interesting. Aman Patel, joined by Faisal Shah. Faisal, obviously you roam in these neck of the woods. What do you reckon, 131?
Yeah, I think today the way the wicket played, probably par would have been 145, 150. Although in this tournament, 130 was scored on the first day in this square, and it was hauled down, even though in the last over, to evenly matched sides. That's probably the only context I can go back to. So looking at the innings and the platform that was built, they were on course for that 145, 150. So Atlanta Fire will feel that they're about 10, 15 short here. They can make up for it, though, by the way, by taking early wickets and being extraordinary in the field. So they're still in the hunt.
Terrific start by Carmine LaRue. He's looked brilliant in this tournament in terms of his pace and the bounce that he's extracted on these surfaces.
Yeah, well, battle of left-arm seamers. We saw 3 in the first innings, and now Carmine LaRue He's tall. He'll extract bounce with that new ball. But the wicket tends to get sluggish after power play, but we've seen with the new ball for a couple of overs, taller bowlers have been able to get it through.
And Pranav Chittapalli gets the runs on the board for the Clarion Eagles. Pranav, part of that really young group that's really exciting on the come-up. You talk about his under-19 heroics for the USA, and it's earned him some high regard. Also had a big minor league this season as a member of the Manhattan Yorkers.
He had a very influential knock yesterday for the Eagles. They were coming in on the back of a defeat, and they lost the toss and were put in on a very, very peculiar-looking pitch there at Field1. He got off the blocks really quickly, and that set the tone really for the Eagles' victory later on.
Mukhtar Ahmed, impact sub for the Clarion Eagles. Put down, beats the keeper, and goes all the way for 4. Oh no, just holds up.
Evidence of that bounce. Mukhtar couldn't cope with it. Smith Patel behind the stumps. Couldn't get 2 hands to it. Almost hit the shoulder of the bat. Look at the bounce, and it was on the up as it hit the gloves of Smith Patel. Early reprieve for Mukhtar.
It's been hard yards for him as of late to find runs in some Major League Cricket. Really struggled in minor league opening the batting. Had the 1 innings of 40, but outside of that, average would have been in the teens.
Got tucked in on that occasion. Yeah, Mukhtar is a free-flowing batter, so generally some of the surfaces that you see, they're not conducive to his style of play. He did make a 72 in the opening game from the Clarion here, albeit in a losing cause. But yeah, even yesterday he hung around, he scored 31. Tried to hit his way into form.
The one luxury here is there is time for the Clarion Eagles. 131, not a huge total. So you can take a couple of overs. Even think about how we saw the Lightning start in 22 through 5 overs. So you're in position there.
Yeah, these conditions demand that kind of approach. To go big from the word go, you'd have to take a lot of chances. It may come off, but the likelihood is they may not. So you need to take your time.
And against this bowling attack, it's going to be so difficult. LaRue nearly with the wicket in his first over. It's 4 for none.
Very good. Very good. Look at that bounce from LaRue, hopping around the batter. Seems that the train has left quite early. I don't know where it's heading, but we would know where this game is heading after this power play because it is crucial. And it also crucial, the result in the context of the group situation as well.
And this opening partnership for the Atlanta Lightning is hinged upon their fast bowling. Jesse Singh and Carmine LaRue, 2 of the better fast bowlers in the country. Jesse Singh, the vice captain for the USA, coming off a ridiculous minor league, maybe his most effective season, and he's been in some real rhythm running in.
They got a pretty rounded attack as well to go with those 2 big seamers. They got Akhilesh Budagam, the off spinner, and then Swaip Thai is there. Amila Ponso, familiar with the conditions here. Based from Atlanta, played quite a few years for Atlanta Fire and now has joined Atlanta Lightning this year.
Yeah, even look at Shamar Springer as an option with the bat, with the ball rather, in terms of seam options, and then you can go to JaVale Glenn as a spinner.
So 3 good seamers and 3 or 4 good spinners of different kind. Because Swaip Thai is different to Akhilesh Budagam and Amila Ponso is different to both of them.
Good carry for Jesse Singh very early. I'm curious to see Mukhtar Ahmed's approach because, again, he had that lean patch coming into this tournament. Started off the tournament on the right foot, but there's no need for him to have to play at the 170 strike rate he likes to be at.
Yeah, and the other thing is he likes pace on the ball. And these two, as good as they are offering him pace, although Kamilaru's movement and bounce was a bit too hot to handle in the first over.
No edge onto the pads there. Yeah, these power plays have been so interesting because across the board they've been slow. And it doesn't seemingly make that much sense for the second innings to start as slow as the first one does.
Yeah, sometimes it also the conditions get into the head of the players. They've seen 20 overs of batting, and whilst they're fielding, they think how they're going to go about it, rather than the usual T20 frame of mind where generally the ball comes on to bat and you know your game plan from before you start the game, literally, and doesn't necessarily have to change it as the game progresses according to the conditions. Because these T20 players, most of these players play a lot of the T20 cricket. Changing gears seems to be the hardest thing for them.
Excellently flicked by Pranav Chittapalli. Picks up a massive 6.
Yeah, it was angling into his pads. Easy pickings, you'd have to say, for someone of Chittapalli's caliber. Just a flick of the wrist, and look how far it went. Effortless ease.
He's got so much time on his hands. And again, it's why he's really made a name for himself very quickly on this level. It's also a great experience for the young man. I love the Atlanta Open's inclusions of under 21s in playing 11s. It allows them to get experience from the best and the best.
Yeah, and unlike minor league at times where you can blood in your youngsters, the group situation does offer you an opportunity to throw them into the deep end. You have to play, but sometimes we've seen players get into the playing 11 but not get a prominent enough role. But here, Abhinav, because the games are so tight, and Abhinav is holding his place because of his merit, not just because he's U21.
This could be trouble.
Oh.
Put down. Couldn't corral it in off the carom, Shamar Springer.
I almost jinxed him. And when I saw Shamar Springer, I didn't think he was going to drop that. He's very, very safe. He made the ground. Was looking very comfortable as that ball was landing into his hands. But just fluffed his lines, and not even on the second time of asking. That is a lucky reprieve for Pranav.
And it's huge because Jesse Singh is such a momentum cricketer. He gets wickets early, and his 4 overs could be lethal. He doesn't get that early wicket, and you just maybe sense that he starts to overdo it, and that's when he can be expensive. Comes back for 2. Brilliant running from the Clarion Eagles.
You make a good point about Jesse Singh. He had quite a lot of trouble with his confidence. His run-up as well used to bowl quite a lot of no balls. He's gotten over that and has been really consistent and consistently good. The over has come to a close now. It's 15 for none after 2.
More Carmine LaRue. Yeah, playing the safer approach to the seamers, and I think that's the smart way to go about it. Yes, there's a lot of bowling options, but if you can keep wickets in hand, we've seen bigger scores available.
Absolutely, and partnerships are key. So whilst Kamil LaRue is bowling so well, getting that bounce, even that last delivery, hitting the splice of the bat, not something that you can get underneath it and deposit it, even if it's power play. This is a sensible approach, in my opinion, from both these openers.
We had a lot of conversations about it. Again, pressure on the Eagles. They have to win today to give themselves a chance to make those playoffs tomorrow. excellently run. Mark Parchment quick enough to keep it from being 4, but really smart from Pranav Chittapalli.
A good piece of timing. Just played it late, used his wrists. Mark Parchment, pretty quick. Didn't see much with the bat from him. He's a free-flowing opening batter.
Gotta love the aggressiveness of Carmine LaRue.
And he's very quick across as well. Very athletic. So the batter out of the ground and changed directions. Picked up the ball and kept him honest. Very impressive spell so far from Carmine LaRue. Just feel like you're watching a test match. He's got a slip in place. Taking the ball away from the left-hander.
To Chittapalli's credit, he's riding the bounce much better in this over compared to his first, so he's adjusted and adapted nicely.
First over, he was hopping around, and in this over, he's able to maintain a better balance and get his hands above the ball, so he can find the middle of the bat on those climbing deliveries. Sort of knock him on the head and down into the ground. Because if it's the other way around, it's likely to go in the ear. Technique, basic technique, even in T20 cricket, can never let you down.
See you later. Massive from Mukhtar Ahmed, straight as you like.
He waited for his moment, and as soon as he saw that ball in his hitting arc, he was ready for it and sends it out of the park. And it's a magnificent strike. The key, the balance, just a little press forward, and held his shape very, very nicely until he saw that ball hit the middle of the bat.
That was absolutely gorgeous. This is where Mukhtar Ahmed is so unique because he can score very quickly, but he doesn't have to do it in a slogging in motion. Like you mentioned, he can just hold his shape.
Also good because Carmine LaRue has been bowling short. He pushed him back in the crease, thinking that forward movement, a weight transfer, there will be slightly sluggishness in that. But he picked up the length so quickly and has done it with ease. Cannot fault Carmine LaRue for trying that fuller delivery after bowling short. That's what you set up the batters for. It's just Mukhtar was too good on that occasion.
Excellently navigated this over. Make it an 11-run over off Carmine LaRue. 3 overs gone, 26 for none. It's good there to see Carmine LaRue go over to Mukhtar Ahmed and just say, you can't do that, man. You can't hit me like this.
Yeah, these days big fast bowlers quite gentle. Back in the day, and fast bowlers used to be nasty. Long flocking hair and there's vicious stares. Obviously the face of cricket has changed with franchise cricket. A lot of these players, they play with each other as well at times. One day you're in opposing dressing rooms and next day you find yourself in the same dugout. That is the nature of franchise cricket, week in, week out.
Yeah, and you'll see it here on full display. Akshat Gomel and Harmeet Singh on the same team, but you talk about Carmine LaRue and Sanjay Krishnamurthy, 2 separate sides, and it could be a case where Sanjay's batting against Carmine. I'm sure there'll be no slower deliveries to Sanjay Krishnamurthy.
I'm not saying that they go easy at each other in their skills, but it's just that the friendly nature between them, and you can understand that. Nothing wrong with that, in my opinion.
It's the beautiful part about these opens. It brings the best cricketers in the country together. And again, they might be on the same franchise, they might be in other franchises, but you consistently are playing against the best competition. And So you can see the level from the first Atlanta Open to now has dramatically improved because all the players have dramatically improved.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is, we've seen the likes of Colin Monroe, Martin Guptill here, James Wins, Ravi Bopara. But you make a good point about the local talent. I mean, their quality has risen so much that they've been a good match for any of those global stars when they come to these open tournaments.
That one has just carried and shot off like a rocket.
I just love when the wicketkeeper takes the ball when it's still on the rise. Up above his waist and still rising. Bends his back. Look at that ball climbing as it hits the gloves of Smith Patel. That is terrific. No better sight than a big, tall, strapping fast bowler running in and getting it through like they did now.
Brilliant start for Jesse Singh in the over. Back-to-back dots to Chittapolli. In the air, but will land safely. And will go all the way. Maybe not exactly intentional, but profitable.
It took the hand off the handle. Just the one-handed, but the good thing he went through with the shot. And that is exactly the direction of the wind as well today. Coming from third man to wide long on. Probably aided a little bit because it wasn't timed like you said. He'll pick up the result. You won't mind about that.
A really good opportunity for Chittapolli to experience this level of cricket. Experience a lot of major league cricketers as he looks to carry through the next phase of his cricketing career. Wow, we saw one rip through. This one maybe just staying that touch lower.
Yeah, that's what makes life difficult for the batters. They do not like the up and down bounce. A lot of good players will enjoy the bounce as long as it's even. And this one pretty much similar length. It'll be interesting to see the replay because the lengths were pretty similar. Probably this one was a yard fuller, but no justification for it to keep that low as it did.
And that one rose on Chittapolli. So just signs that this pitch might have some demons as we continue to play. 4 overs gone, 32 for none. We'll be curious to see when the Lightning elect to go to spin. Have so many seam options, but on this wicket, you mentioned in the pregame, the spinners tend to be the most effective.
Yeah, that was the word going in from a lot of these players when you go around in the morning and you talk to them, that how they feel the conditions are. And like you mentioned at the top of this innings, that this is the only team with such a formidable and influential fast bowlers. So they went to them first up. But I'm sure we'll see plenty of spin. And after the power play, the general trend is that batting gets difficult. That's where partnerships are important. So these two have given themselves a good chance to start after the power play if they can stay that long, because when the field will open up, they'll be in the best position to milk the bowling and keep the scoreboard moving. But a couple of wickets at any stage in this run chase, bring 2 new batters in and the fielding side will be in.
That's why Captain Emil Ponzo has gone to himself. Cashes in. Chittapolli, wonderfully placed.
Emil Ponzo at times is pretty quick through the air. This time got too full and allowed Chittapolli to get under it. And with power play, not much protection on the offside. Handy boundary. The partnership propels.
And you can see Chittapolli on full confidence at the moment. And there's been so much talk about this young man's career. I remember talking to Yasser Mohammed last year down in Dallas for that T20 series with Nepal. And he said to me, man, this Pranav kid up with my minor league team is so good. Watch out for him. And at that point, he's already scored the big runs against Canada to get the USA under-19 team back into the under-19 World Cup. but his reputation since then has continued to grow. Stock is rising, and so are the runs. That is an effortless 6.
Effortless indeed. This time he decided to go straight down the ground. It went over the side screen. The safest place in the ground to hit. But immense power and still maintaining that great poise. That is excellent batting and good counter-attack. Amila Aponso, generally very miserly, has been taken to cleaners. First 2 deliveries out of the park. Welcome to you, Amila, says Pranav.
It's not something you see that happen to Amila Aponso very often. So economical, so hard to get under. But through 2 deliveries has been all the youngster. And then has the maturity to just settle in.
Yeah, pretty much expected response from Amila. He goes quicker. And like you said, very well washed. You got 2 sixes. You got the adrenaline running. There's every likelihood that you want to continue in that vein. Not Pranav. Giving respect to the deliveries where needed. And picking whatever comes his way.
You've done your damage for the over. Just 87 runs left to go get. You've picked up 12. You can more than happy to play 4 dot balls here.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't go chasing. If anything comes your way, just pick it up.
Not where you want to be. And a 3rd boundary in the over.
Yeah, that is loose. That is very uncharacteristic from Amila Aponso. But Pranav is not complaining. This is a big over. The run chase is well and truly on track. Any good player would tell you that these are easy pickings. Even Amila Aponso will admit he got that one wrong.
You don't necessarily mind a dipping full toss, but it's so straight with no protection out there. And it didn't dip as much as it needed to. It really ended up at thigh height. And we'll hold on to strike after a 17-run over off Amila Aponso. 48 for none after 5. Back to the Buttermere Sports Complex where the Clarion Eagles in a must-win. They've gone off to an absolute flyer of a start. And brings in Shamar Springer with the ball. Also brings in Leonard Achaivar to come join me. Lenny, an absolutely sensational start for these Eagles.
Certainly, Aman. Sensational Pranav Chattapalliam.
You would have seen a lot of him up in the East. Had the one really big innings this year. What can you tell us about him?
Yeah, it's ironic that we didn't see the best of him because of the conditions there, but he's been one to watch for the future. Saw a couple of good youngsters in the East. Onkar Zope was quite good, quite productive. Pranav Chattapalliam, we know the talent he possesses. And we talked about the Manhattan Yorkers, a team full of young players to watch.
That is excellently timed. Wow. One hand off the bat and all the way.
Yeah, brings up the 50 and by some yards. Another big strike here from Pranav Chattapalliam. And look at that. One-handed shot, but because of the pace of the ball, Shamar Springer gone for 6 in his second ball.
And this is so exciting for any USA Cricket fan because you talk about our top order, it's set. But we don't have a lot of lefties in the batting lineup. Here's a young former under-19 kid who is making a claim and might be arriving in front of our very eyes. Excellent comeback from Shamar Springer. Comes with his own pedigree.
Yeah, they're really off to a good start. We talked about teams chasing on this ground that have gone pretty well. And we also talked about how important this game is for Clarion Eagles to give them a bit of traction as we head to the playoffs starting tomorrow. Aman Patel. And also, we've got to keep an eye on Kingsmen. They could separate themselves. They play later on.
Yeah, the Lightning are going to win today in this game would put them in a position to claim that bye. And that bye is so vital. So much cricket being played over the course of this week that you can get yourself out of there. You get a day off. You can feel well rested headed in to Saturday and Sunday. But it's so difficult to go and play 5 consecutive days of cricket.
Well, the fact is, man, even if the Lightning wins here, well, look at that. Sliced and gone away.
Yeah, touch fortunate, but fortune favors the bold. No deep third. And Pranav Chittapalli says, I can take your pace all day long. And he's quietly, maybe not even quietly anymore, moved into the 40s. Too wide with no deep third fielder.
So final ball to close out number 6. And I was talking about the fact that if Lightning wins here, then you'll probably see a temporary separation of 6 points with them. But Kingsman plays at the 2 o'clock slot.
Exactly.
And they're playing Cardinals also on 4 points. So it's going to get interesting in the next few hours.
How could you not love Group B? And again, like you mentioned, a bunch of teams on 4 points. The Eagles will win, and now they join 4 points. And it really becomes just all eyes open on how do the net run rates and how does everything work together to decide the top 3.
Yeah, back here, but as we've seen a solid start from the Clarion Eagles.
.50 in style for Pranav Chittapalli.
Yeah, what a way to bring up a half century. Another one in this tournament. And it comes off the bowling of Shamar Springer. And the way Pranav Chittapalli has gone about his business has made it look so easy. And you can see on the card there, 28 ball half century for this young man. Look at that. Commanding a shot into the offside and gone the distance. And so 6 gone. They're batting a 66 for no loss.
He's timed it so wonderfully, Chittapalli. The big part about his game that everyone will talk about is the fact that it's just effortless. You never really feel that he's searching for power.
Yeah, and it looks so exciting today. We saw him playing some really big shots, and he's really taking on the fast bowlers. And you get the feeling, Aman, in fact, he took apart Amila Aponso also. So we'll have to wait and see the bowling options here.
Yeah, almost hit Aponso out of the attack. And right now, Mukhtar Ahmed's joining that cause, picks up a boundary straight away.
Yeah, we saw yesterday also Mukhtar Ahmed was pretty quiet. We also saw a good knock from Chittapalli yesterday too. And it was Mukhtar Ahmed playing second fiddle to the young man. They're off to a good start. They just need, what, about 59 more to win.
Soeb Thai in with the ball. And again, the Lightning running out of options, needing to find a way to break this opening partnership. It's already worth 72. Actually, lucks out there. Really, that should have been over the fence.
Yeah, looking to get into position, as we have seen so many times. Batters want to get under the ball and was heading for a very good area. There's not too much protection behind the keeper. But Chittapalli with a 50 comes back into strike.
Be curious to see the length Thai goes to Chittapalli. I think you'd rather be shorter the way Chittapalli's striking it. Perfect length.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect.
This has been a good over so far from Soap Thai. Good comeback. We saw the first ball that went off the bat of Mukhtar Ahmed into the offside. That went for 4. Other than that, He's kept some good balls in this over.
Fielder holds on. Chetabulliam, 54 off 29, and he has to depart.
Still think he has done his job. Excellent catch. Easy catch for Jesse Singh. But he falls for one of 13 half century in this season. Look at that. Into the deep, and a very easy catch for a man who has been playing at the international level for some years, Jesse Singh. And so the first wicket goes down, 73 for 1.
Did his job early, though. Picked up a brilliant half century. The young man departs at 73 for 1. As the captain, Akashit Gomel, who carries around a lot of runs in minor league cricket in his own right. Is really the part of the Clarion Eagles that haven't made a lot of sense. This is a team that is so formidable, filled with stars, and somehow they're on the outside looking in as the defending champions.
Yes, man, and you look at Gomel. Gomel has had good success at the Atlanta Open, of course playing for different teams at time. And I know you and Shaw Faisal spoke about the ever-changing and the dynamics of franchise cricket these days. One day we were friends, and then the other day we were friends on the opposite sides. And so Gomel comes in here with a big job done by Chetabulliam and to a lesser extent Mukhtar Ahmed. They've put on 73 before we saw the first wicket fall.
Beats the fielder inside the ring. And good work by Jesse Singh in the deep. Holds it to just 2.
Yeah, we talked about how busy these players have been. Aman Patel, we talked more about that. 7 gone, 75 for 1.
Unbelievable start from the Clarion Eagles. Much different to what we saw in the first innings, Lenny.
Yes, man. The 6.5 runs at the end of their 20 over. But you look at things here, they're going over 10. And Mukhtar Ahmed has been a very passive partner so far. We saw a blistering knock from Chetabulliam. It looks like Amila Ponso gets another over.
Well, he was hit out of the attack by Chetabulliam. So change of ends here. Surprised maybe to see him consider giving the slightly smaller side to the right-handers. Not as dramatic of a difference as it was yesterday when they were on an a westernmore wicket, but still that slight field dimension will come into play.
Yeah, we've seen some really good batting. We've seen so much left arm spin in this series as we've seen across the world actually. And Amila Ponso, you looked at an over that went for what, 16 or 17, but we all know he's a better bowler than that. And Aman, we were talking about the likes of Jesse Singh, Monarch Patel, how busy they've been this year, League 2 cricket, and then of course the break for Major League and Minor League, and for the boys who went on to play Super 8, here they are playing another week of cricket, and then tomorrow they leave for the UAE. So much cricket.
It's a really brilliant thing, in my opinion, considering you just go back maybe 5 years ago. There just wasn't this amount of cricket anywhere in the country at this high of a level, and so you've seen the team benefit. All the players, whether you're in the USA setup or not, have elevated their games, and I don't think it's any accident that Monarch Patel is in the form of his life. That Sai Mukamala is playing maybe as good as he's ever played in his life.
Yeah, Mukamala in particular has had really a good season, and we were talking about how average he had been in previous minor league matches, but this year was really good in the East.
Yeah, and I think, again, conditions in the East are so tough. It's hard to look at a scorecard and stats and say, well, you've had a great season or a poor season, but unequivocally, Simon Kamala's best year in minor league cricket. Very straight from Mukhtar Ahmed. Excellently placed.
Yeah, that's another lovely shot from Mukhtar Ahmed, and you get the feeling now the likes of Mukhtar Ahmed and Akash Gomel shouldn't be under pressure at all. And look at that, smashed straight down the ground again, and Milo Ponce is really having an off day, but certainly can't be too ashamed because he's bowling to some top quality batters.
Would have seen a lot of each other, these two, in the nets of the Washington Freedom in Major League Cricket. Simple should be and is. Aponzo gets the last laugh and breaks through.
Well, Mukhtar Ahmed, I was just talking about, no pressure at all for him to really, on a batting perspective, but look at that, a safe dismissal in the end. And into the hands of Monang Patel, so the second wicket falls, not getting hold of the shot, Mukhtar Ahmed. And some reprieve here for Amila Aponso. He picks up one. But you get the feeling, man, a lot of damage has been done. Take a look at this one. Looking to go into the deep areas. Kite and a very easy catch from a man who's used to catching ball because he's a wicketkeeper, Monang Patel, 82 for 2.
And here's where your game can shift, Lenny. You talk about partnerships and opening partnerships. Now both openers gone, two fresh batters in the middle, and again a bowling attack that is very formidable.
Yeah, we saw what happened with the Atlanta Lightning. Remember one time they were batting at 83 for 2 around the 12 over mark, and mentally I was trying to think, well, we doubled that, maybe 160, 170 on the cards. They ended up making 130. You never know. Krishnamurti comes to the middle.
You never know with Sanjay Krishnamurti as well. He can turn it on in a hurry. Can take his time, however. Just 49 left to get. So plenty of overs to get these runs. It's about holding your wickets in hand. And Krishnamurti does a 360 to find that one at fine leg. Close of over number 8, 83 for 2. Oh, no, the over off yet. Overthrows. Aponzo's unhappy because he feels as if the umpires called the over. And Monang Patel's making the same case. He says, you've already closed off the over. How can they come back?
Yeah, a lot of time. It's a call you got to hear. Sometime the end of the over. He comes with two things, Aman Patel. It comes with a call and it comes with a signal. Sometimes you got to wait for the call. Similarly, like wide. Wide is one of those infractions that has to be called or should be called. And then, of course, the signal comes out. So might have been one of those things, but we've seen it so many times. I remember Johnny Bairstow. Remember, he got run out and when he thought that the umpire called the over, but the umpire never called it.
Seemingly they are going to be awarded 2 runs as Gomel will start on the strikers. And actually, it says 1 on our scorecard. Well, that would mean that Krishnamurti should be on strike. So again, we'll try to see that. And if that gets adjusted here. And I think that's your slight delay as Monang Patel still having a conversation about it.
Well, irrespective of what decision the umpire makes, that has to be communicated to the scorer, and I don't think they have done that.
Well, they just awarded the 2 runs. And again, that's really frustrating Monang Patel. Just had a word with the leg umpire and still having a chat.
Yeah, you're right. If it's 1 run, then the batsman will have to switch ends. And that's one of the things, Arman, with all the signals that the umpire gives, he communicates with one person, and that's the scorer. So that has to be made very clear with the scoring team. But the cricket continues.
47 left to get. And oftentimes when you see a side maybe get frustrated, it could lead to either a real resurgence or maybe them losing even quicker. Oh, Monang Patel will be frustrated with that because he was just pushed out of that position at short fine.
Yeah, brings them closer home. We've seen a very good knock from Pranav, who got a half century. You've seen a little bit of fight back, a quick innings of 23 from Mukhtar Ahmed.
Krishnamurthy's last game at this ground didn't find the runs, so he'll be looking to right those wrongs.
Yeah, we've seen Krishnamurthy by his standard, just 6 and 38 in the series so far, but we know how good he can be. Just coming back, how busy these players been. We spoke to Jesse Singh, and he's flying out tomorrow to the UAE. Nepal and UAE will be part of their next engagement at the end of the month.
Be curious to see that squad list and who is everyone that is going out there. Sanjay Krishnamurthy could be part of that. Remember, he was representing the USA ODI side the last time we saw them in action. Does Utkarsh Srivastava go with them? All questions that will have to be asked. Sai Mukamala, Monang Patel, Smit Patel could be well on his way. So many individuals. And will there be any new faces? Carmine LaRue's eligible. Mohamed Mohsin's eligible. Do they get looks? Close of over number 9, maybe. We'll have to wait. Let's all be patient here. Ball in keeper's hand. Call of over. All right, here we go. Now we can confirm it. Close of 9. 89 for 2.
Then they issue a press release. So nobody knows.
I don't even know if USA Cricket can release a press release. I don't know.
So nobody will know. Maybe until the day before the match, because they're going to play some warm-up.
Yeah, warm-up
So nobody knows about the squad.
A win here for the Eagles keeps their hopes alive in this tournament. Who they'll have and who the Lightning will have on the way through, that'll be the question. But well on their way, the Eagles, after a disappointing start to this Atlanta Open.
Yeah, we talked about the Clarion Eagles, the defending champion from last year, Aman. And the interesting thing, all the big teams that are still hovering around looking for playoff spots, they have somehow got into the final or won at the Atlanta Open.
I love the parity that's been on display. There's so many great teams available and around and great players. And again, we could have a 5th consecutive new champion. It's quite remarkable that Major League or the Minor League nor the Atlanta Open have we seen a repeat champion.
Yeah, it talks about the intensity and the topsy-turvy way that the competition has gone on for years.
And it's not like there hasn't been times where it's been close. The Silicon Valley Strikers in year 1 of minor league cricket won it, and then year 2 got to the semifinal. The Kingsmen were very close this past year. Seattle has been in the playoffs after their initial win. So many close calls, but no one's been able to get over the line, and the Eagles are hoping to be the first team across the 2 tournaments to be able to do it.
And Aman, one of the biggest thing that has happened to the Atlanta Open, we have gone full turf in the last 3 years. Before, we used to be at a Atlanta playing field, played on Matin and the other grounds, so that's a big step up. And I earlier spoke to Carmel Leroux, and I asked him about the facility available these days, and you've got to be quite impressed with the way things have gone. A lot more pitches now. We talked about, since minor league came in, so many new pitches and facility available.
And that's been the big part about these Opens and minor league cricket that maybe goes overlooked. It's, yes, helped the quality of player, but it's helped the standard of cricket. You're playing on turf. You're playing on outfields that are more conducive for you against the best. And now when you get to the international level, you get to a major league level where everything is going to be on turf, you're ready, you're accustomed, and you're in those habits. Absolutely pumped, but straight to the man on the boundary. Shamar Springer very tall and made it look very comfortable.
So Gomel will have to go. It had been a quiet over so far from Aponso. And you talked about these odd wickets that falls here and there. Look at that. Straight he picks out Shamar Springer. He's a tall man. And in the end, a couple of wickets here for Aponso. And he's picked up 2 wickets now. It's 93 for 3, man.
Yeah, huge, captain. Just trying to put some emphasis, get one boundary in place, but he picked the one fielder that was going to pluck that out, no matter how high you put it. Close of over 10, 93 for 3.
The annual Atlanta Open T20 tournament returns October 7th to 12th in Atlanta, Georgia. Presented by Atlanta Fire Cricket and Tarek Real Estate, 12 teams packed with the best domestic and international T20 talent will be on show. Catch live action on the MLC Network, Willow Cricket, and T Sports.
So we're back with the action. Saif Badar comes to the middle. And in comes Shaw Faisal.
Thank you, Lenny. Clarion Eagles, who've dominated this run chase so far, have lost a wicket. They've done it once in this tournament when they were 3 for 132, chasing 172 and capitulated.
So ball through the offside. Lovely shot from Sanjay Krishnamurti. Akhilesh Budugum might have gotten a bad bounce, but it goes away for 4.
Good start from Sep. Was short and wide. It's Krishnamurti, in fact, because it was the last ball of the over. Sanjay is very prolific. Picks up the length early. Yeah, bad bounce for the fielder, Akhilesh.
So they are just 33 runs away, Shaw Faisal, to go up to 4 points, and then it gets interesting.
It certainly does. They have back-to-back games today, so they'll be having a quick turnaround and getting ready for that afternoon start. But Atlanta Lightning will be sweating and waiting on other results for their qualification as the afternoon and evening sets in.
Yeah, we've got a big encounter with Cardinals and the Kingsmen, and they are also on 4 points, so somebody will have to give way. Couple of runs, the running has been good. Saif Badar gets off the mark and brings them closer home.
It is constant shouts from the Atlanta Lightning dugout telling their players to just hang in there, try to take it as deep as you can, because we might end up with 2 teams on 4 points looking for that one qualification spot, and it will come down to net run rate. That's why that wicket of Akarshit Gomel was crucial, because even Eagles themselves, they want to collect points, but they also want to stay ahead with that net run rate. And whilst this run chase is well under their control, they want to finish it off clinically.
Yeah, we've seen a good knock. What a start we saw from the young man. Pranav Chattopadhyay may have set the stage. Mukhtar Ahmed supported well at the top of the order.
Yeah, little things though for Lightning. That drop catch by Shamar Springer earlier in his innings of Chattopadhyay, and also them not capitalizing on the platform that they had built after being put in.
Yeah, we've seen an impressive campaign for the Atlanta Lightning so far, Shaw Faisal. Won against Kuli Sher, then lost to the Kingsmen, and then got the better of Cardinals, made 202 in that game.
102 for 3 after 11. But, huh?
So Ponso will continue. Couple of wickets for him. Will come in here to bowl to Krishnamurti. Always looking for runs, Shaw Faisal. And we haven't seen Akhilesh Budugum yet.
Here into the 12th over, and skipper Aponso into his last over. He had that very expensive first over, but then he's pulled things back quite nicely, Amila. Two right-handers in the middle. That's the reason probably they're reluctant to introduce their off-spinner. Akhilesh is a very good bowler.
Yeah, we saw an over from Aponso that was taken apart by Pranav Chattopadhyay. Went for 17. Yeah, a couple of good balls in this over. In fact, 3 good balls. Saif Badar, he's been quiet in this series.
He got 32 in the first game.
And he knows he has some time. Clarion Eagles hunting for that couple of points, which will put them even with some other teams. Into the offside, Manang Patel, the USA captain. And hands the strike over to Sanjay Krishnamurti. We saw a brilliant catch from Sanjay Krishnamurti earlier on, Shah Faisal.
Yeah, right in front of us. That was outstanding. He's a very, very good cricketer. Watch out for him. And almost jinxed him. Just pick up a single, which was so close to that leg stump off that inside edge. Closing in on that target of 130 after 12. The Eagles are now 105 for 3.
Atlanta Fire. Star-studded Atlanta Fire, one of the favorites.
And deep, and that one is smack.
Oh, this one is lobbed into the onside. A slow, short ball. So the action continues. Soptai continues. Starts with a dot ball. And Shah Faisal, let's talk about the Clarion Eagles campaign so far. They lost their opening game to the Cardinals. And cut away. That's a lovely shot. Fielder will come around. Couple of runs here again for Sanjay Krishnamurti. When we saw the results of the Cardinal game, we thought it was kind of an upset. But they continue to play well, the Cardinals. So Clarion Eagles, they lost their first opening game, and then of course they came back big and took out the Kingsmen 142 to 79. Shot from Sanjay Krishnamurti, gone all the way, and that's a massive shot into the offside.
He's generated enormous power. Just stayed within his crease and launched into that. And look at it soar over the railings. Must have been an 85-meter hit. That is massive from Sanjay Krishnamurti.
Yeah, he's the type of player that is very strong, straight down. And now the pressure on this Atlanta Lightning team. We talked about this is their last game, so they will have to play, wait and watch. On the other hand, Clarion Eagles, they have a busy day ahead of them. They'll play here, and then they play in the evening slot. Into the onside, gone all the way over square leg. 2 sixes in this over off the bat of Sanjay Krishnamurti.
Yeah, making quick work of that target. Krishnamurti gets into his stride. And 2 sixes in different direction, but top-class execution. This time gets down on one knee and lifts it over square leg with ease.
Yeah, you get the feeling that the Atlanta Lightning missing, and this one short and hammered again into the onside and gone for another maximum.
Well, it's happening very, very quickly. This time it was a long hop. The pressure had been put in, and the bowler buckles under it. That is 3 sixes in the over. Swept high, all that experience, still not able to keep Sanjay Krishnamurthy quiet. 125 for 3 after 13.
So we come down to 6 to win, Shaw Faisal. It looks like Akhilesh Budugum will get an over in. And we've seen a really good knock from Sanjay Krishnamurthy. He's up to 34. And essentially what will happen, since they've got another afternoon game, Shaw Faisal, when we used to play and we've got a double game, we always tell ourselves the quicker this game finishes, longer rest.
Yeah, and they've made short work of that 130. I thought it would go deep into that innings, but 13 overs all it took. Sanjay Krishnamurthy getting into his stride very quickly.
So Akhilesh Budugum, the tall off spinner, giving the ball here. And you're asking him to come up with the miracle that this team needs.
Yeah, well, even the most optimistic of Lightning fans, the only hope they can have at the moment is just to extend this innings beyond this over into the 15th.
Yeah, ball punched into the offside, and Shaw Faisal, if we were in one of those big Atlanta stadium with 50,000, 70,000 people and they've come here to watch the Lightning, they'll be probably making their way to the exits.
Would have done so after the third ball went over the fence. The exodus. Don't see the usual drums from Atlanta Lightning. We saw them during the minor league, but there aren't any drums.
Actually, maybe the drums guy was going to come starting tomorrow, but we'll have to send him a message and say, hold on a little bit.
Anxious wait for them through this afternoon till the end of the next round of matches that will start at 2 this afternoon.
Saif Badar goes big, goes far, and is gone for the highest you can get from a scoring shot. Gone for 6, and that's the end of this one. Clarion Eagles win quite easily.
What a strike from Saif Badar. Goes straight, goes down the ground, and the play would have to stop at field 2 where that ball went, because it was a massive hit. And what a fitting way, an emphatic way to achieve victory. Eagles march on, and now we have 4 teams in Group B with 4 points each, with 1 game to play in this afternoon fixture to settle the group. And Clarion Eagles had a game in hand coming into today, so they made sure they caught up with that. And now with 1 game to play, Atlanta Lightning, having played all their games, will have to wait anxiously to see what happens. Sanjay Krishnamurthy, another delightful knock from a very talented batter to go with 1 outstanding catch earlier as well. Atlanta Lightning would have felt they felt short with the bat, but would never have thought that this run chase would end so quickly inside 14 overs, and that will dent their run rate as well for the tournament. Chadapaliam, what a sensational knock from him. He set the stage ablaze. Mukhtar Ahmed for a while took the back seat, got his a couple of big shots away, but then it was Sanjay Krishnamurthy with those 3 sixes in 1 over, and Saif Badar a telling winning strike over the fences. Well, wickets for Amila Ponso, but he was expensive. Carmine Leroux actually bowled 2 very impressive overs up top. So did Jesse Singh, but the task was enormous, and a drop catch in the field as well didn't help their cause, as he really chased the leather, the Atlanta Lightning. That is the match summary. 130 for 6 played, 133 for 3 in 13.5 overs. Monak Patel, another stylish knock for the USA skipper, 43. But Abhimanyu Lamba was the star with the ball. Harmeet Singh once again chipping in with wickets. And when it came to the run chase, Chetapalliam and Krishnamurthy made sure there were no hiccups, no dramas, as they went over the line with plenty of overs to spare. Well, that will suggest that the points table would have taken another twist in this Group B here at Atlanta Open 2025. Look at that Group B now. Clarion Eagles, with their superior net run rate, have climbed to the top of the table from being number 4. And Atlanta Lightning went and swapped places with them with a negative net run rate. Cardinals, the Kingsmen, exciting game on our hands this afternoon. And Eagles and Kolesher will also be in action. Well, it's just about time to head to Lenny Achabar for the post-match presentation. He's got Amila Ponso alongside him.
Yeah, thank you, Shaw Faisal. Amila Ponso out of the Atlanta Lightning. Amila, it's been a tough one for you today. This may put you out of the competition.
It's maybe, but I think we shot off another 25 to 30 runs, but we never know how the cricket goes in there. But I think we may have a chance. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw you got off to a very good start. At one stage, it was 83 for 2 at the end of the 12th over. Where did it go wrong in the middle there?
I think after power play, we didn't do our batting weapon that much. I think we didn't rotate the strike. So if we batting in the morning, I think we need to rotate the strike, especially these kind of conditions. So I think we collapse from the after 12 overs. Yeah, starts the collapse.
All right, and bowling, it was always going to be tough to defend 130.
Yeah, I think after first inning the wicket gets so much better. I think we dropped 2 catches as well in the crucial time. So if you're especially in this kind of less total, I think we need to grab those catches as well.
So Amila, 4 teams are on 4 points. You're done for the time being. You'll have to wait and watch and hope and pray. But we've got Cardinals still with a game to play. Kingsmen with still a game to play. And of course, the team that just won against you, Clarion Eagles, still a game to play. So it's going to be a little bit anxious here for the Lightning.
Yeah, obviously, yes. So I think, I don't know, we'll hope for the best.
Yeah. All right. So there you have it, folks. Amila Ponso, the captain of the Lightning, is wait, hope, pray, and watch. And hold on and let's see what happens.
Thank you very much, Lenny. Mila Ponso definitely will have to wait for the games in this afternoon as well. But credit to the Eagles. They really put in a performance when needed. They've actually started the run chase a bit nervously. Kamal LaRue bowled 2 very good overs. Chance went through the slips, through the hands of Smith Patel. And then the openers got into their stride. Chetapalliam and Mukhtar.
Yeah, again, the shots around the ground were quite brilliant, and they never really let up. There's one opportunity that went to begging, and Jesse Singh was getting pace, getting bounce, but then there were a couple of opportunities that just didn't go to hand, fell into gaps, and Chetapalliam cashed in in a big way. And it was this over, I think, that probably changed the whole thing. Took Amila Ponso for 17, and the Eagles never looked back.
Yeah, that's the time where he really got into his stride. Chetapalliam put the opposition skipper under pressure, and you see the errors from Amila Ponso that he normally doesn't commit. One hand off, doesn't really matter. 6. He's done it twice in this innings with a hand off the handle and still able to take the ball out of the fence.
Yeah, it seemed as if the wicket got a little better to bat on as you went throughout the day, and so it speaks for what's to come in match number 2 here on Field 1. Soeb Tai finally able to get through to the podium, not after he brought out a half century. And then very shortly after, Mukhtar Ahmed goes. And you thought, okay, are the Lightning going to claw back into this one? But the likes of Saif Badar and Akarshit Gomo, you had Sanjay Krishnamurthy, made sure things didn't go awry even after the fall of wickets. They kept it going, and then Sanjay Krishnamurthy in 1 over just picked up and let loose on Soeb Tai.
3 sixes in the over and 3 different directions. 1 extra cover in the slog sweep, showing full range of his strokes. That was a long hop and deposits it over square leg. Saib Badr, the most emphatic of blows to make the statement and seal the victory for the Eagles. Winning by 7 wickets, and I think we are ready with the post-match presentation. Lenny Achabar is pretty busy. Let's head over to him.
And here we are, player of the match. And of course, it goes to Abhimanyu Lamba. Abhimanyu, what a performance we've seen from you today. 4 for 17. Talk to us about it.
I was just trying to bowl on the areas and like with the pace off and the way our captain used me on the bowling, and I got the support from the fielding side as well. That helped me a lot.
Yeah, we were wondering when you were given the ball in front of some established bowler, but you really bowled with some bit of pace. You took out some big wickets at the top of the order, and you've got to feel so confident about your performance today.
Yeah, I was I was in the rhythm, and I was bowling good, and I was getting swing as well. That's helped me to get the big wickets in the starting.
Well, certainly you put Clarion Eagles with a chance of going further in the competition. You'll be hoping that you can really have some other good games as we come along to maybe the playoff stage.
Yeah, whatever, if we got the wicket, according to the fast bowlers, I'll try to play my role. And because the last game I didn't bowl a single over, so it's part of the game, yeah.
All right, so folks, there you have it. A big performance from Abhimanyu Lamba, 4 for 17, player of the match. A big performance from your team. You needed one to catch up with the other teams. You've got a big win.
I'm glad that we got a big win and at the right time. We were aware that Atlanta Lightning team is not an easy team to beat, and I'm very lucky to have such a team that stick together and execute the plans really well.
Well, you've got a chance. It's still another game to go. Kingsmen is also playing in your time slot. So it's going to be a race between Clarion Eagles and Kingsmen to see who comes out at the top of the group. Are you confident for your next game?
I'm pretty much confident, and more important is playing good cricket. I mean, we are not going to take any opponent lightly, and we're not actually thinking about the other teams as well. We just want to focus on our game and win it and go home.
All right, last question. 2 outstanding performance. We saw Lamba getting 4, Chattapalyan getting a half century. You can ask for more.
That is true, and at the same time, the kind of support that we are getting in the field as well, taking catches, attempting runouts, that is also more important. And I'm really happy that the bowlers, especially Lamba and Pranav, they are doing really well ahead of all the big giants, like you said.
All right, so Gomel, go well. I know you've got a game in a couple of hours, so all the best and best of luck.
Thank you so much.
So there you have it, folks. We've got games all wrapped up. Clarion Eagles, they win quite easily. And that's all from the presentation platform.